Greetings, everybody. Happy Monday. I hope everybody's doing well. Atomic Runner, the opponent, D. What is up, guys? VOD viewers, lurkers in chat, everybody else, of course, also welcome to another evening of hot streaming action. Mark, what's up, dude? It is Monday, and there is time for Prince of Persia. There's more time for more Prince of Persia, I suppose. We wrapped up the Sands of Time on Saturday, and that was a lot of fun. If you weren't here for the stream, we finished the game, and we, of course, unlocked the original Prince of Persia, the Mac version specifically. And I was curious to check that out, and it turned out I had a hunch this might be the case, but because we were playing the Xbox version emulated on Series X, going one layer deeper to play an emulated version of the Mac game on the Xbox copy on my Series X, the manner in which it didn't work was kind of fascinating. It was like a good half of the screen was completely black, and the other half of the screen was like 80% black. It was like impossible to see anything. Like, it ran full speed, you just couldn't see anything. It was really kind of messed up. What's up, Newborn? Good evening and happy Monday to you. So I made it a mission to finally make the effort to look into Mac emulation. I've done a tiny amount of cursory research in the past because I wouldn't say I have a long list of Mac games sort of lined up that I've been meaning to play, but I grew up on Mac computers, so there's a lot of fond memories and a lot of, I was about to say repressed memories. That's maybe not the right word for it, but I played a lot of games, some of which I don't necessarily remember all that well, but I'm sure, and this was the case, even doing just a little bit of research, digging into sort of, you know, recommended lists of classic Mac games and stuff, you end up finding, even doing that just very briefly at some point a couple of years ago, I saw stuff on the list that really jogged my memory. It's like, oh yeah, I did play this. Wow, you know, I haven't thought about this game in 24 years, etc. So I've been wanting to sort of set up for some Mac stuff for a long time, but because I didn't really have any pressing matters, you know, any game that I was immediately itching to play, I just never got around to it. Even last year, at the beginning of the year, if you guys recall, we played a good amount of Prince of Persia games. We played the Mega Drive version of Prince of Persia 2, which actually was kind of what kickstarted the whole thing, because I saw a ROM hack that, you know, reportedly fixed the issue. Like, so Prince of Persia 2 was ported to the Super Nintendo, and at the same time, there was a port being developed for the Mega Drive, but it was never released. This unreleased port was, there had been a dump of it, and apparently it had been around for a long time, I just didn't know about it. But somewhat recently, someone made a hack, I think it was Master Linquay who'd done the hack, that was supposed to have fixed some specific bugs in that build of the game that prevented, like, it was kind of rudimentary stuff, but there were like level completion triggers that didn't work, so you couldn't finish certain levels. What's up, Brunin? Yeah, thanks. I should probably hydrate. You guys are getting me all chatty here, so I could use some hydration. Thank you for that, and greetings. As it turns out, the Mega Drive port of Prince of Persia 2 had a lot more problems than just the occasional level completion trigger not working. Granted, it's, even with all its problems, it's still better than the Super Nintendo version, which was released, and it's like fucking unplayable. But that left a little bit to be desired. We ended up never finishing it, but I did end up playing the Mega Drive port of Prince of Persia 1, which, granted, was also a highly frustrating experience. That's a port that, like, some aspects of the Mega Drive port of POP1 makes it my favorite port. Other aspects of it make the game unplayable trash. So it's got its peaks and valleys for sure, but I think it's arguably the best looking version. And it's got, I think, 4 unique levels. a good number of the ports that were made around that time had some unique content, and the 4 Mega Drive levels are all pretty interesting because most of them include like mechanics or at least design sort of choices that are not present in the original game, which is pretty cool. But that kind of led us down a rabbit hole of playing the Mega CD version, which is unrelated to the Mega Drive version and uglier, but plays much better. It's basically a port of the PC Engine version, which is also really good. I mean, basically every version of Prince of Persia that plays well is good. You might, your mileage may vary in terms of visuals, but all the ports that aren't good, what they all have in common is that they're all fucked up in how they play. The Master System version is like legendarily fucked up too, because like the entire grid / tile system like isn't really functional. It's incredibly messed up. Now the original Prince of Persia was of course a massive hit, and it was ported to a lot of systems. Although actually a more accurate way of phrasing that would be that the DOS version was a massive hit. The game was originally developed for and released on Apple II. And by 1989, the Apple II was not really a going concern as far as most of the world was concerned. It was very old at that point, and the original Apple II version like does not run very well. But it was when the game was ported to DOS in 1990 that it really took off, and from there it was ported to a lot of systems. And as such, even though we've played a couple of versions of it, there are still like plenty of versions of it to play. As things have aligned themselves, we haven't done like a proper Prince of Persia marathon, just like sequentially doing every version. I still might do that at some point. Like once I've played all of them or at least have all of them up and running, I think that might actually be a lot of fun. Like it's one of my favorite games of all time. It's not like I mind replaying it. So I think that's probably something that will happen at some point or another. What is up, Lamasar? In any case, the Mac version is of course one of the versions I played as a child because we had Mac computers in the home when I grew up. And I always kind of considered it, if not the sort of premier version, at least a version that is, as far as ports that don't necessarily add, levels or stuff like that, it was just a nice looking version because it has these like high resolution graphics. And I didn't do a ton of research on this right like now for today's stream, but I did some research on this previously, like last year when I was looking into this stuff more. And there's an interesting and kind of weird history that I really don't have all the details on. But as mentioned, Prince of Persia was ported to a lot of different systems, and it was ported by a lot of different people, by a lot of different companies, different developers, and different publishers. And the interesting point to that is kind of how there were some like cross-pollination or between these different versions. A lot of them are just like vastly different from one another, but some of them also retain stuff. And that's definitely the case with the Mac version. So the Mac version came out in 1992, which was pretty late, but not the latest version to come out. I guess I don't know specifically. But I think the Super Nintendo version was 1992, 93 maybe. But the first version started appearing in 1990, and there were, in fact, a number of Japanese ports for various computers that came out around 1990, 1991. I don't know off the top of my head which ones were the first, but there were versions for the Sharp X68000, the FM Towns, and the NEC PC98, which I believe the earliest of which came out in 1990 at least. And those computer systems, of course, were capable of higher resolution graphics. So I wouldn't know exactly which came first or which was kind of the premier version. I'm not sure about the specifics of who worked on what, but Arsys, Japanese computer developer, worked on at least some of those ports. And the graphics that the Arsys developers made for those PC versions were kind of the basis for some of the other ports. Not all of them, obviously. A lot of them primarily I'm guessing like, you know, the other Western computer ports like the Amiga and Atari ST and whatever, like those were all based on the DOS version, you know, the prince just has the white pajamas and whatnot, which in turn, of course, were based on Mechner's original graphics for the Apple II version. But for the again, I'm unsure if the FM Towns version or whichever one was the first, but the first Arsys developed version anyway, they redesigned the prince to give him a vest and a turban. They added a lot of details, of course, to the tile sets and stuff because it was in high resolution. And some of those details then carried through, most notably or most obviously in the Mac version, but also in like the PC Engine version, which is like low resolution, of course, and also very low like color depth. It's not a great looking version, but it has the character design and a lot of those other elements sort of retained from the Arsys PC versions. And that in turn was then ported to the Mega CD, and like a lot of different developers and publishers touch these different ports. So it's kind of weird and interesting to see how some of that stuff was kind of retained, and in some cases it appears just from cursory research on Moby Games that like in the Mac version, for example, Arsys software is like credited under like for the graphics. We're gonna have to take a look in the game and see if we see the credits and see how it's presented, but Arsys did not develop the Mac version. In fact, I'm not sure what company did, if it was if Rotorbund had like development staff, or if they were kind of outsourcing it to some other company or just private contractors or what. I really have no idea. But there were Arsys apparently has some kind of credit on it, which makes sense because the graphics are all like adapted from their graphics. They're not the same, but they're very similar. What's up, Tefla? Playing Persia back in the day, couldn't get past the first card. Well, that's the thing, you know. It's a bit of a puzzle game, right? You gotta know the secrets and know what to do, and or figure it out by trial and error. What's up, Malone? Happy Monday. I almost said happy Friday. It's a bit of wishful thinking. Yes, we got some royal gaming, royal Macintosh gaming for once. A first for the stream, actually. But yeah, I just find some stuff like that fascinating. Like, it's one thing if one studio publishes a port of a game and they make subsequent ports that they would sort of retain. They would like remake every port from scratch, of course. But it's kind of weird or interesting when you have, you know, an American game gets a Japanese PC port with completely redone graphics and stuff, and then another American company makes a new port, and they just integrate some of those changes from the Japanese PC ports. Like, that's not super common, I feel like. And if I'm not mistaken, I do believe Arsys was also the developer of the Super Nintendo port eventually, and that too retains some of that stuff, but not like the graphics. All of that is like completely redone, but some of the way the menus operate and like the title screen, there's stuff like that you can kind of recognize between different versions. And in that sense, this Mac version is a lot closer to the DOS version. Basically, the tile sets and the sprites are all sort of inspired, let's say, by the Arsys PC version, but still sort of changed a little bit. And some of which, like, there's a lot of artistry to appreciate about it, but there's also, like, it's hard to explain, but it looks, I don't think it looks bad, but it looks a bit funky in some ways, which is, it feels perfectly typical for Mac gaming. Like, Mac games generally back in the day, like, because of the way Mac computers were designed, like, they often had higher resolution screens. Even the monochrome Macs had, like, what, a 512 by, it's some unusual resolution, I think, but it's like, it's not 512 by 384, but it's like 512 by 320 or something. So it's a higher resolution than you would typically see on DOS games in the 80s. So that's why you get stuff like the, you know, the ICOM, Mac Ventures, Shadowgate, and Deja Vu Uninvited, as well as like Dark Castle and stuff like that. They have very interesting looking high-res artwork, even though it's just 1-bit black and white. And that kind of followed into the sort of color era when DOS and other computers were still often running in 320 by 240. Mac was always high resolution. You know, a lot of cross-platform games, of course, the Mac would just have the same graphics as a DOS version or whatever. But in some cases, they, like Prince of Persia, they would get unique graphics that were sort of tailored to the high resolution. And in a lot of cases, the artistry did not necessarily scale with the fidelity, so to speak. 512 by 342. Okay, yeah, sure. I mean, I'll take your word for it. I just know it's some unusual resolution. No Oregon Trail. Oregon Trail was definitely not a thing over here. I know of the game. I haven't really played it. I'd be happy to mess with some version of it at some point. I think I saw somebody stream. There was like a sequel to that back in the day that seemed kind of neat, but nah, that's like... I think very few people have any kind of nostalgic connection to the Oregon Trail. You know, computer software was distributed through all kinds of different channels, so I don't doubt that people here would have had access to it, but it was not a cultural institution. I can assure you no one played it in school. So it's definitely not something I have a personal connection to. Yeah, I mean, the DOS version of Prince of Persia is excellent. The console ports are all of very varying quality. We haven't really played many of them, which we will have to address. We will have to do something about that for sure. But yeah, a lot of the time they try to gussy things up in kind of weird ways. But I will say again, I think the Mega Drive version has, for my money, probably the prettiest graphics. I don't think the Super Nintendo version is like... It's got... I don't know. I don't mind the way it looks. It looks good, but it's not as nice looking as the Mega Drive one in my mind. Just the design of the tile sets and the sprites, the animation looks a little funky at times. But of course, it has like a shit ton of unique content. It's easily the version with the most unique content, but also the specifics of that like it adds a bunch of boss fights and shit. Like that's cool. And it's not like the art's not good, but it's I don't know. There's a kind of a color palette and some design to things that I just think look a little bit grimy, and which, you know, unusually enough, the Super Nintendo version looks kind of grimy and the Mega Drive version looks like really nice and clean. So I still want to at some point. I know there's like you know, the DOS version, there's like, you know, modern kind of remakes of it. And there's a vibrant sort of level design, hacking, modding community for that game. In fact, I got my hands on a version of the DOS game that has the Super Nintendo levels included, it said, which I found puzzling because some of those Super Nintendo levels have like teleporters and stuff that just aren't in the game originally, so I don't know how they deal with that. But I would like to make or see someone make a version that has like all of the content from the Super Nintendo version, but like the graphics from the Mega Drive version and like the controls from an actual good version and stuff like that. It would be interesting to see, because there really is no definitive version of Prince of Persia, which on one hand is like it's a bit of a shame that there is no go-to version, but it also is really fun because there's so many versions that are all worth examining for different reasons. Granted, there are plenty of versions that are not worth your time unless you really if you're a glutton for punishment or like me, just find bad games fascinating. But yeah, there's some shitty versions, but even among the really good versions, there's a lot of reason to actually bother messing with other versions too, which I find really cool. And you know, to just circle back on the look specifically, yeah, I also really appreciate this really clean and simple look of the DOS version. It's not my favorite, but I do really like it. It's I mean, of all the versions that sort of adapt that look but don't do it as well, like the Master System version is a good example. Like, even setting aside the fact that it plays like a complete mess, it's got some weird stuff where like the tiles aren't as distinct, and the use of color gets a little bit weird. Like the color palette of the DOS version is just like perfect. That NES version has like the dungeon tile set is like blue and purple. Yeah, it does not look as good. Is the Genesis extra content that good? I mean, it's cool. And that's the thing. Like, if you put the Mega Drive levels and the Super Nintendo levels, and like even the Mega CD version had like an extra boss fight at the end, which I assume was designed for like the FM Towns version or whatever. like obviously you're going to make the game much longer. The Super Nintendo version even, you know, it adds an hour to the time limit. The Super Nintendo game has a time limit of 2 hours instead of 1 hour. The Mega Drive version does not add to the time limit, which is one of the like 12 reasons why that version is super difficult. I mean, the two major things that make the Mega Drive version more difficult is one, like the grid. Like normally in this game, you're supposed to kind of snap to the grid. So whenever you make a jump, you can really only make the jump on like specific points. Technically, you can move. Like movement can have you end up at some point at like between the points on the grid, so to speak. But if you use the sneak step, you'll sort of align yourself with the grid and everything. But whenever you jump, whenever you do a running jump, the game is supposed to sort of snap you to a point before you jump, so the jump will always be an exact length. The Mega Drive version does not do that, so you have to align your jumps like 6 times more precisely than any other version. Grabbing ledges, as a result, also doesn't work quite as reliably. So jumping is fucked. I guess you can summarize it that way. The Mega Drive version is kind of fucked for 2 ways. The jumping is fucked, and the sword fighting is fucked. Because you can block, but there is no counterattack. So you can't rally with enemies. You can block, but it's completely useless because you get pushed back. So the combat ends up being super weird, and it's not at all what it's supposed to be. So because of that, you can get really screwed over in combat as well as in platforming. And then you add to that the fact that there's 4 extra levels, all within the same time limit. And like the final stage is like a really long, like vertical climbing gauntlet. And the very last thing you do in the final stage after defeating Jafar is to make like a perfect running long jump, which is like, it's really stupid. Not only because the jumps are stupid in that version, but like in the original game, you don't have to make a jump. You can just run over. It's these like invisible. Well, maybe we'll get to see it tonight. But basically, there's a big gap that after you defeat Jafar, like you can walk over it. But in the Mega Drive version, you have to do a perfect jump to land on the first walkable tile for no real reason. It's stupid. It pisses me off because the atmosphere and the look and everything of the Mega Drive version is so cool. It just plays like a complete mess. It's very unfortunate. But yeah, Maloney for sure. Like all these ports being so different makes it super duper interesting and fun. I've always had the impression in my mind that the Mac version is like really, really good. You know, at the very least on par with the DOS version, plus, you know, arguably more fancy graphics. Maybe audio too, although I guess it's mostly got the same sound effects as the DOS version. And we'll see. Already in my quest of even getting this shit up and running, I have come across some interesting facts that have made me realize that the port is maybe not quite as like perfect as I thought. But we'll see. We'll see. Cover art for the Mega Drive version is cool. It's kind of funny because the prince is like blonde, which I guess he kind of is in the DOS version too. But he looks like Luke Skywalker. I always thought it's got like, you know, the same sort of weird karate farmer outfit that Luke has in the first Star Wars movie. I don't know. It's not a bad cover, but there are better ones for sure. The Mega CD version has the same Arsys cover art from the Japanese PC versions. Obviously, the Katsuhara, the artwork for the Super Famicom version is like, I mean, that's just one of the best cover arts of any video game of all time. So it's hard to compete with that. But, you know, the classic sort of PC box is pretty cool with the sort of classic movie poster, pulp novel looking cover. The DOS version, for some reason, or the NES version, has like a repainted version of that cover, which is kind of strange. But I think we've done enough chatting here. I don't know about you guys, but I'm personally ready and pretty pumped to play some Prince of Persia. So let's do it. Let's hop on over here. So speaking of box arts, we got, of course, the classic trapezoid box. I forget his name. I think it was a dude, at least. The person's name who designed this box. They were quite famous for designing a number of boxes that had these like very unusual shapes. And I think this was the box that was. I think the Apple II version, the original version, had that the pulp-looking box, and because I remember Jordan Mechner commenting on it on Twitter. His Twitter account is great, by the way. You should follow it. That this box is like, this is when the game took off, like, because it had this really unique box. Yeah, right. I remember seeing this article. Yeah, they were really like attention grabbing. Like, I think it's pretty ugly. And they did reuse this artwork for the US Super Nintendo version, I believe. It's basically just a cropped like close-up of the jumping prince, because the PAL version had a cropped version of the Japanese artwork, but I think the US version used this. Yeah, it's just kind of weirdly abstract with this kind of gold pattern and the spikes and whatever. Like, the shape is cool, but it's, you know, as the artwork itself is kind of weird. I mean, obviously you're going to lose the effect just seeing a picture of it like this, but it's quite special. Anyway, we're gonna start playing a game. All right, so let's load our system disk here and get rid of these Virtua jams, hot as they may be. We're gonna get some hot Persian jams in a moment. I just did a video. Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So I did mention that, oh yeah, I should do this. Wait, there we go. What was I going to say? Yeah, so speaking of reasons why this version might not be ideal, apparently, so in my quest of getting this running, I was trying a lot of different things and different emulators and stuff, and I had the game up and running just fine, but it wasn't running very well. It was running slow and it was kind of stuttery and weird. And I was looking to see if I could find another solution to run it in a different emulator, which I did. And it's an emulator, I'm running this called Mini VMAC, which seems very neat. But one of the kind of peculiarities, I suppose, of this emulator, which I'm not really used to, is that it's like designed to not have like options stuff. Like, it's designed to be very self-contained. So basically, a lot of the options and stuff you might want to change, you have to change, like when you make a build. So it's like open source, I guess. I haven't like looked into it, but basically, for example, the fact that it's running in this weird resolution, which I cannot change. I can go here. Well, it's okay. There we go. Mini VMAC video card. So I can't like change resolutions. I can change it to black and white, which probably doesn't look great on stream. Well, this pattern probably still doesn't look great. So if I wanted to run it in a different resolution, I have to like make my own build of the emulator. Like, I don't know. I can't say it's messed up. It's very different to what I'm used to. Luckily, I have been able to set some stuff up with OBS cropping filters and stuff, so you'll be none the wiser. Anyway, that was just a tangent. But what I was saying about the port being less than ideal in some ways is that as the game was kind of running slow, I was trying to do research to figure out what I could do to make it run faster, or what was going on, whether it was an emulation issue or what. And it turns out that the actual game as released for Mac apparently has like some, I don't know if you could call it a bug or a mistake or what, but it runs slower. And it's not necessarily a performance thing. It's like made to run slower than the DOS version. Speculation I saw in this forum thread discussing it was that it might have had to do with varying refresh rates on monitors, because that's like, you know, something you would have to take into account. Whether something is made for 70 hertz or half refresh rate 70 hertz or whatever. But long story short, someone was able to like hex edit the game and find like the memory address or whatever that determined like the wait time, basically every tick in the game, like how many refresh ticks it waits until it like um, proceeds with the next tick of the game. Basically, I can't really explain it very well, as you can tell, but basically they made it run faster. So what we're going to be playing is basically a hacked version of the game that has been modified to run at the same speed as the DOS version. Which, by the way, I had a different emulator running, and the hacked version didn't seem to be any different there, but I guess that had to do with my performance already not being good enough in that emulator. So let's mount the disk. And we've got POP speed fix, as it's called. As far as I'm aware, the version is not otherwise modified, so I do have my little cheat sheet here for manual copy protection, which is kind of interesting. The game has copy protection, which is unusual, not unusual, of course. And you'll see what form it takes, unless it's been like modded out, and I don't think it has, but we'll see. Basically, after the first level, and whenever you load a save game or whatnot, you go into a room with there's like 20 potions with different letters on them, and it tells you, on page 12, row 6, what is the first letter of the second word, and you pick that letter and you drink that potion, and you get to proceed. When this game was re-released, there was a CD-ROM release that had Prince of Persia 1 and 2 on it for Mac and DOS in like 1994 or something. And in that version, it didn't come with the same manuals as those original games. So it actually came like on the packaging or in the manual or whatever. There's like a little cheat sheet that gives you like just a list of page, line, word combinations and what letter is there, which I thought was kind of cute. They couldn't be bothered actually like changing the copy protection. Anyway, enough stalling. All right, I'm gonna probably turn down the audio a little bit. You guys let me know if it's good or bad, and I'm gonna change this like so. So technically speaking, the game will probably on most computers run like this because it wouldn't be stretched. The game would just run in its original resolution, which is 640 by 400. However, it is my belief that if you look at the art assets, especially as these were kind of made for Japanese, yeah, there's no sound. I'm aware. The emulator will pause whenever it's not in focus. Silent art, yeah, okay. I think I just turned it down a little bit. We'll get back to the game in 2 seconds. The graphics are ported kind of as is from the Japanese computer versions, which, I mean, I guess it's very inconsistent. Some of those games are very much designed around a 4:3 aspect ratio, and others are not. I think it looks better in 4:3, but maybe we'll try swapping. And I mean, look, this screen, for instance, you'll see obviously the tiles around the border are like square, but this is kind of a 1-to-1 remake of artwork that was in the DOS version, which would have been 320 by 200 stretched to 4:3, right? So this would be more accurate to that. I think the castle looks more majestic like this. It's my preference, at least. Yeah, analog copy protection can it's funny and charming when they do something interesting with it. I think the letter from the whatever page on the manual, that's like easily the most boring version of it. But you have stuff like the Monkey Island Dial a Pirate and like Police Quest 2. I remember a friend of mine had that when we were kids. It has like all these mugshots with profile information. Like when they can take the copy protection and sort of bake it into the lore of the game, or at least into the game experience, I think is really cool. But yeah, I don't exactly miss it. Yeah, aspect ratio can be it can be a deep rabbit hole for sure. In the Sultan's absence, the Grand Vizier Jafar rules with the iron fist of tyranny. Only one obstacle remains between Jafar and the throne, the Sultan's beautiful young daughter. Yeah, it's really interesting with some of the art, like the kind of black outlines around the characters. It's not a bad look, but it looks a little amateurish in some way, like in the shading and stuff too. Yeah, again, 640 by 400, which was, yeah, same as PC98, same as, well, I guess probably FM Townsend, whatever other computers could run different resolutions, but kind of a standard one. Marry Jafar or die within the hour. All a princess's hopes now rest on the brave youth she loves. Little does she know that he's already a prisoner in Jafar's dungeons. Dude, this intro's so good. So no credits. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so there's art direction by Layla Jocelyn, who I think did the like DOS graphics. And then you had graphics by, and there were like two people, and then Arsys software. So we're gonna have to look at those versions at some point. I have zero experience emulating Japanese computer stuff. So it's not something I have good to go for now, but we're going to have to experience that for ourselves at some point. But if you look at just screenshots, which is kind of what I did a year ago, you know, just look up what the FM Towns or PC98 version looks like. And it's obviously the colors are totally different, but you can see the design of the tiles, the character designs, like everything is exactly like this. Or this is exactly like that, I guess. WP Ninja, what is up? What is the overall best way to play this game? To me, this is the best version. That is I think a hotly debated topic, honestly, because we were talking about this a long while here. But basically, Prince of Persia is interesting. It's not unique in this regard, but it has a lot of different ports, and a lot of them have unique aspects to them that you can't really find elsewhere. So the graphics are basically unique in this version, because even though they are adapted very straight from the PC98 and FM Towns versions, the graphics are redrawn, and the color palette is different. I mean, I guess I have to finish this before I can say too much definitively about it, because I haven't played this version in about, I guess, almost 30 years. I know a lot of people will say the Super Nintendo version is their favorite. It has the most extra levels. It's got music, you know, constant background music. It plays really well. I think the PC Engine and Mega CD versions are faithful ports of the original, or of the DOS version, I guess. But with graphics a little closer to this, it's got music as well, like CD music. There are some console ports that are really bad, but you know, if someone were to say that the DOS version is still the definitive version to them, yeah, I think that's, you know, you can't really argue with that. But it's not necessarily the best version, depending on what you're looking for. This version that we're playing right now is like a modified version to make it run faster, to make the speed on par with the DOS version, because otherwise it's a little bit slower. The Apple II version, yeah, I think even Jordan Mechner would say the Apple II version is not the ideal version to play. Maybe I'm putting words in his mouth. I want to say that he seemed very happy with the DOS version anyway. I mean, the Apple II version is awesome, of course. It's the original and everything, but it runs like shit. I guess, you know, I don't know much about the Apple II. I guess you could probably have a fancy modern Apple II with extra memory or shit, and maybe it'll run super well, or on emulator or whatever. But I don't know. There was recently a fan-made Apple, or not Apple, Atari, like 8-bit computer port that I'm definitely gonna have to try at some point. But for my money, the Master System version is probably the worst. At least of the ones I've played, the Master System version definitely plays the worst. Is it worse than the Game Boy or CPC versions? I have not played either of them. I'm actually excited to play them. There's a Game Boy Color version that looks a lot like the DOS version. That seems really cool. But there is an original Game Boy version also, which actually looks, in screenshots, pretty good. But of course, screenshots don't really tell the whole story. The Mega Drive version looks fucking amazing in screenshots, but it doesn't play very well, unfortunately. But the Master System version, like, if you see it in motion, there is no single aspect of the Master System port that is not completely fucked up. It's super messed up. Was Spectre involved in many of the ports? To the best of my knowledge, he was kind of involved in the DOS version. But other than that, I don't think he was directly involved in pretty much any of them. He would have fairly soon after that, I imagine, been working on Prince of Persia 2 and what's it called? Was it called the Orient Express? I forget. The train adventure game, whatever. Game Boy version feels a lot like the NES, but slower. Yeah, I mean, speed can definitely be a big difference. Like, I'm sure the Apple II version handles well, but it's got a monstrous amount of slowdown. Digitized actor version of Prince of Persia. I mean, some of the footage that he used to rotoscope the animation from when he filmed his brother, you know, jumping in the backyard or whatever, like, that footage exists, some of it at least. I mean, I guess you could probably you could do something with that. I don't know. But yeah, hey, why not? The Last Express, that's it. Thanks. Yes, self-destruct system. There's a game called Prince of Persia Classic, which came out. I guess it would have been. I'm trying to think. It was like 2008 or something like that, because it would have been probably like it uses the design of the prince from Sands of Time. If it came out alongside the 2008 game, you feel like they would have actually used that character design. So maybe it's earlier than that. 2000. You know, I mean, I guess it could have been 07. Xbox Live Arcade and PSN games were around at that point, but they hadn't been around for a long time. I have that version. I'm not particularly fond of it, but we're definitely going to have to play it on stream at some point. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not my preferred way to play it. 07, yeah, that makes sense. That's right, it was on mobile. That is correct. And there is actually an Android remake of Shadow in the Flame, Prince of Persia 2, which I'm really eager to play. I don't think I will love it all that much, but obviously Prince of Persia 2 didn't have nearly as many ports and different versions as the original game, so I'm definitely excited for that. The lack of ports also makes it a little clearer that, as far as I'm aware, the Mac version is the definitive version of Prince of Persia 2, because there aren't really any other versions that add anything interesting or unique. They're all, like, pared down or cut down or buggy or worse. And the main difference between the DOS and Mac versions is that the DOS version runs in 320 by 200, and the Mac version is, it's not actually 640 by 400, but it's higher resolution. It's got a weird in-between resolution, but it's higher resolution artwork. Anyway, let's see. I have some, like, menus here that are kind of cut off here. Oh, there's not much there. So, new game. Here, I just realized that I should, why not, by the way? I should, give me a second here. Why don't we, in the spirit of Prince of Persia, do that. And keep a timer on screen. Obviously, the game time is what matters, but, you know, why not? So let's do... Is that how we do it? Yeah. So let's start a new game. And see how well I remember how to play this. I did play through this level a couple of times as I was doing like testing, so I think we'll be doing this okay. I'm still like finding myself immediately like super focused on this. Thanks for the good luck. I always forget though, there's like, one of these screens has like something in the ceiling, I want to say, or I guess you can go up after the sword, is that what I'm thinking of? There's like a hidden potion somewhere on stage 1. But all this really does is refill your health. Yeah, there we go. Hey, actually. I thought I was would get hit by it. So if you don't get hit, it doesn't really matter. Little teleport there. I would be interested to know, it's not something I like follow all that closely, but I know that there's you know, there's a big speedrunning community for the DOS version. Well, big, but I mean, it's a thing, at least I should say. And that version has a lot of like specific, I know there's like tricks for clipping through guards and stuff. I'd be curious to what extent any of that stuff is retained in any of the other versions. Simple enough. I always forget about this screen. I love that sound effect. I always think I'm gonna fall. Yeah. Well, that could have gone terribly. Alright, you draw the sword automatically. Kind of a garish color here. I'll just make it quick. It's kind of cool, like, knowing that these graphics, like, originate in the Japanese PC versions. You can look at the detailing of stuff like the gate, the skulls and everything, and you can definitely get kind of a PC 98 vibe from it. Even though it's been kind of redrawn and this doesn't take the dithering and those kinds of things into account, but other things like the clean black outlines and the kind of generic looking shading on the characters, it has such a different vibe. It's kind of interesting. Okay. Drink the potion matching the first letter of word 2 on line 5 of page 5. So I gotta, well, actually, if you look at the bottom of the screen, it's easier. Page 5, line 5, word 2. So I'm looking at my cheat sheet here. Page 5, line 5, word 2 is the letter S. Okay. So at least they made it kind of cool. S is over there. We got it. So I'll lay down some safety saves. I'm gonna do my best to see if I can finish this in a proper run. But you know, we'll see how that goes. Level 2. Let's oh wait, okay, it's, I guess the disc was like write protected, so call it pop saves. All right, let's see if I remember any of the other levels in this game. That's probably gonna fall too, isn't it? Yep. And I'm gonna get hit. All right, that's fine. That's fine. I wonder if you can crouch to dodge. Ah, I pressed up. Okay, that's fine. Getting the hang of the timing of the combat. It's not a big time loss exactly, so it's fine. There we go. Takes a little getting used to just get the timing right. Yeah, I mean, we finished a couple of versions of this last year, but Obviously, you know, some levels are more easy to remember than others. I start getting stuff like mixed up too. I mean, I guess it's also kind of tricky when you play different versions that all have like kind of different levels. So some stuff kind of carries over and some doesn't. So I hope that this is health. Alright, nice. Yeah, I mean he's got very roomy pants, so they can comfortably fit a sword. Okay. I'm not getting the counterattack out very well, but if I'm at least managing to parry, that's good. So I want to say one of these maybe hurts you. I took my chance on one of them. You know what? Fuck it. Let's... Yeah. I want to say there's a health extension. Soon enough. I should have... Oh, okay. Should have tried crouching, because in some versions... I think that's just a heal. Yeah. In some versions, you can time a crouch. So you like get out of the crouching animation.
Unspeakable horror awaits you.
Just as the tile falls on you, and you'll be fine. Glowforge misadventures on a 7-month streak. That's not what I meant to do. Thank you very much for your continued support. I appreciate it. I want to say going up here, it's maybe a waste of time. That's the thing. Like, it's been... or this is a health extension. Oh, I forget. It's been long enough that, like... Nice. There's a lot of stuff that's, like... I recognize it as I see it, but I can't remember what I'm actually, like, meant to do. There's gonna definitely be... Like, that's the thing. That's why I said I'm far from confident that I'll actually finish on, like, a single run. I let go of shift for a split second, but I was able to hold on. There's gonna be a bunch of trial and error, basically. And frankly, I haven't played any version of this enough, like, consistently, to have a good sense of how much of a margin you really have as far as time goes. Alright, we got him. Yeah, you can do the crouching trick in DOS. The jumping is so, like, nice and smooth, it just works. Not to be taken for granted in some versions. Like, so far, this feels great. Like, I have no qualms with how anything feels, really. Some of the timing and some of the things, like with the sword fighting, I just have to kind of dial in my feel for it. But that would be true for any version. It's not that it's like... Oh, I just saved... I see. Okay. So is there a... There's a save as, probably? Yeah, I see. So I should have done that. Well, noted. We'll do that next time. Yeah, I'm not, like, running a timer because I don't trust the game's timer or anything. It's just, oh, I didn't mean to do that. That's fine. I want to say we're supposed to go up there. Yeah, so that's, like, the hint. You kind of go over to this screen to see that there are pillars, because you have to make, like, a blind jump. Is the skeleton up here? On the next screen, or... I might be early for that, I don't remember. But yeah, it makes sense, like, some versions. That's the thing, like, this is even the kind of modded, sped up version. So the original Mac version... It's this thing. First try. Would have been not accurate. Like, the timer would have been too slow. Does the mouse have a name? Oh, this is the skeleton. That's what I thought. Not that I'm aware, but I like me some Prince of Persia, but I don't have all the lore details. Pretty funny that you can clearly tell, like, the audio, like, it's only playing one, like, audio source at a time. I mean, it works fine. The game doesn't have a lot of overlapping audio. But it's a little funny when a little grunt overwrites, like, the loud clanging noise of the jaw traps. That's nerve-wracking. Alright. Okay. I guess he fell down. Looked a little funky, but... Oh, that's so satisfying when the prince, like, we're done here, starts sheathing his sword even before the dude's dead. Oh. Quite aligned. There we go. A little teleport. Alright, that didn't go too badly. Music's pretty good. Ooh, cutscene time. Alright. New tile set. Level 4. The princess is entirely relaxed because she knows that we got this. Oh yeah, on this level you can like clip through that door in the DOS version. I want to say there's some like you can like go down, but you really don't have to do it. I just remember there's some like completely unnecessary route you can take, which might be what we're doing right. I didn't. No, okay. Well, we're fine. Maybe, or maybe we had to do. Oh, I don't remember. That's the thing. I recognize screens, but I don't remember. Yeah, I think this is the shit that you really don't have to do. It's stuff like that. Like, I have these vague recollections. Well, if this is a health extension, I guess it was worth it. Still think you're not supposed to go down. Oh, whoa! Right. You can't make this jump. And, I guess... Well, I did remember correctly that I wasn't supposed to go down here. I just, fucked it up. Yeah, I think the potions are, they're gonna be playing some tricks on us eventually. Right, so I don't have to go fight that guard. I can just go over here. That's what it is. So basically, you don't have to go all the way over to the left, but it's probably worth spending 30 seconds. Yeah, this is kind of awkward too. I think he got... I guess I hit him? Okay. I hit him, but because it was off screen, there was no, like, hit effect. Oh yeah, you don't want to go left there. That just leads back to the start of the level. There's a dude to fight, and then you go back to the beginning of the level. Fighting is so much more satisfying than fucking Sands of Time. I think the Super Nintendo version maybe has like the smoothest sword fighting. But it's all good. Okay, we're gonna take that. As long as the features of the fighting like function properly, unlike the Mega Drive version, I like it. Like, I think it's a super elegant and simple design. That's right. We're gonna meet our friend very shortly. Alright, you don't want to fuck up and, like, fall down that entire thing. That's the exit open. It's like, it's nerve-wracking every time. You can jump over floor spikes for sure. Oh, I fucked that up. So you're drained to like 1 health. I don't think the Shadow Prince looks very good in this version, but that's fine. Yeah, the mirror noise is excellent. It's like really unsettling and like, ugh, that's weird. Alright. Save game as... What the f... Okay, well, we'll saving every other level, I guess. I misclicked. Actually, I think the Apple II version Shadow Prince looks super cool. Because it's made with like a it's not quite like a palette swap. It's like some sort of an equivalent, but it's more like, obviously you don't really have different color palettes on Apple II. It's like some weird like shifting. Some part of the graphic data is like offset. Jordan Mechner has like detailed this, of course, in his journals, which have been published in book form, just like the making of Prince of Persia. Such a dick. Okay, you're not supposed to do that, but that's fine. He's supposed to run off a little faster. I believe... Oh, I didn't mean to drink that, but that's fine. Okay. I think it was like a little pixel off there, but it was still close enough. But yeah, like the Shadow Prince was kind of added. That's really fucking bad. Kind of added later. It wasn't always part of the game. Can you not poke this 3 times or something? Well, I guess we do this then. Yeah, I fucked up. This is like the long way around, but maybe there's something up here. Yeah. Ah, well, I didn't get the timing right. And yeah, reusing the Prince's graphics was like the only reason, like the only way that could have happened. Like, there's no way they could have squeezed an entire additional character into the graphic data. So that brings us back here. I guess I should be able to drop down here then. But he has this kind of shimmery look. That's just, like, really cool. Did he get health back, or did he just have a massive health bar? Well, let's get rid of this guy so we don't have to worry about him. But I think in the Super Nintendo version, it's also kind of like transparent, or like ghost, which I think looks pretty cool. I mean, that's kind of the effect you get in the Apple II version as well. It's this kind of ghost-like kind of thing. You guys are like leveling up rapidly, it feels like. It's always a little awkward to fight across screen edges like that, but works. There you go. Okay, so I think there's some potions down there somewhere, but let's push forward. Probably use composite tricks. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, to be fair, like I've never seen what it actually looks like on a real Apple II, on a real CRT monitor. I've just seen like emulated screenshots, but I mean, even then it looks cool. Okay, let's save game as level 6. Oh yeah, let me fix my timer. Yep. Making pretty good progress here. I'm retaining more. Well, okay, we're not going that way. More than I thought I might. Oh yeah, this is like tricky because if you like jump over one of the spikes, you'll like land on the others. Yeah, same thing here, kind of. If you do a running jump over the pit, oh dude, is the fat guy, the boss. He's like the one boss in this version, or most versions, I guess. Like even Jafar, I think, doesn't have a unique graphic. But I'm very excited to see what the end of the game looks like. Because in the Mega CD version, I was surprised to see more like unique stuff. Oh yeah, this level is really fucking short. That's right. In the Mega Drive version, we were able to like climb in, and the timing is all weird, so I was able to jump across, and then it looked like we probably could have done that here, honestly. Like you could have climbed up through the gate before it closes, and then you just stand there with him, and there's like, well, the door's closed, but actually the wall that's above the gate is not solid. So I was able to climb up behind the wall and jump through the wall down the pit to clear the level, and that was pretty funny. Yeah, the big old guard. I think in the Super Nintendo version, he has like not a name, but he's called like the major or like the captain or something like that. Polski, what is up? I'm afraid I can't quite read your Polish name, but welcome. Raj, what is up? Try playing the Game Boy version. I mean, I do. Let's. Do I have it here somewhere in a pile of crap? Let's see. I don't have the Game Boy version of Prince of Persia, to be clear, but I do have. Let's see if it's in this box. It was not. Then it's in this box. I have I have this. Or more specifically, I have this. Which, as you can see, it's still in its plastic. I haven't actually done anything with this, but I got this. Did I get this? 2020, I think. So with the combined power of the Game Boy EverDrive and my Super Game Boy, we'll be able to enjoy some Game Boy gaming at some point. And needless to say, the Game Boy version of Prince of Persia is on my short list of Game Boy games to check out on stream. All right, level 7. That's like halfway through the game-ish. There's like 12-ish levels, I think. And, right, so that's like the gravity potion, I think. Yeah, the EverDrive I have, the GB one is like kind of a budget model. It's not the fanciest one. But I got it specifically because it was cheap. It was on sale. When I got my Mega EverDrive is when I picked it up. Alright, you want to jump over this. There we go. There's that alternate path on the bottom there. You get an additional health extension, I believe. We'll see. I got the Mega EverDrive, and I did get the fanciest version of that. And I was making that order. The Game Boy EverDrive was like $30 or something. For the cheaper one, it's like, eh. But like, it doesn't have full support for like saving or something. I forget exactly, but it's like there's some things that aren't quite fully featured. Like it doesn't have save states or whatever. Oh yeah, this is kind of tricky. So you have to do a running jump. There we go. There's an invisible switch right before the spikes. That's so fucking satisfying. Shit like that is like what I'm missing in the 3D Prince of Persia games. Oh, I'm gonna die. Well, at least we got to see the extremely satisfying spiked sprite. I almost forgot. Alright, I gotta keep things exciting here. That's a good emote. You know, that reminds me, I've been thinking recently, I still have one emote slot that I haven't used. And I have one or two emotes that I basically just threw in there to use the emote slots. Without much thought or expectations that they would get used. But I was thinking that, I don't have a Prince of Persia emote of any kind, and, I feel like I should. And I was thinking of that sprite when he's, like, on the spikes or something. Like, I'm not sure what from this game, whichever version, like, would make for a good emote, but I feel like I want something. And, a good rip in peace emote is not the worst idea. So I think I can just fall down here, right? Okay, good. I was like, wait, this might not work until the door's open, but no, it's just fine. Get crushed by a door. And we'll see. Like, I'm not sure what is readable in emote resolution. And I'm not sure if, you might want to be a little careful with making emotes that are too gruesome, or I suspect they might, which might not be a fan. I'm not sure, but might be the case. Alright, so, ooh, where do I jump? I always forget. Let's give it a shot. Alright, so you gotta make this running jump. Because of the gap. That's the only way to get in there. Hope that doesn't fuck us up. Just see, because there's just a big, you can go to the far left, but there's like, it's like a, nothing there. You can see the exit, but you can't get to it. Let's see if we can. Yeah, so if you drop down there, you're also screwed, of course. Does Analog make a Super Game Boy? Well, if you had a Super Game Boy, that'd work just fine. I'm not sure if you could do it sort of on the software end. They do, of course, well, they will, at least, at some point, have the dock for the Analog Pocket, right? So that would work. I have an original Super Nintendo and an original Super Game Boy, so I'm not sure what um, how you would most recently go about it with that kind of hardware, but right, so there's a switch there in the middle, which I guess if you drop a tile on it, that door is just closed and you're screwed. I mean, I'm guessing the emote size is just because of the font, the default font size. Right, so you can get to this switch through that health extension section. But you can't get to the health extension and come back here, like you can't. So if you actually go inside there to get the health extension, you won't get it. You won't come back before this gate's closed. So it's, you can learn that it's there, but you won't be able to get out unless you take the long way around. So we took one somewhat costly death, but that's not too bad. All right, let's call him Shiro. Why not? He's sending out Shiro on his little quest. Level 8. Man, we're making real good time here. I mean, you kind of have to with this game, right? "35 minutes left. So what's this level? Seems kind of a weird thing to put at the beginning of the level. Yep. So I think we probably have missed one health extension at this point, but we still have a moderate amount of health. Fighting is civilized in this version, so usually you're pretty much fine. Okay, this looks familiar. I meant to jump one tile earlier, but mouse emote too esoteric. Possibly. I think also I want emotes that are like easily usable, or that's like expressing something. I think that's a problem I have with a bunch of the emotes that I have. I have like a couple. Yeah, if you jump over the first set of spikes, you land on the second. Some of the ones I have don't necessarily express anything, and others are just like, I have a couple that are all sort of like smirking. I think I might have replaced some, but that's why I think emote for like amusing failure, I think would be quite usable. I don't know if well, I think we're actually gonna do a little bit of fighting in this level. Yeah, like I like the Cobra emote. It's pretty good. I guess nowadays you actually have you can like get emote metrics. Oh, dude, I remember the fucking agony of trying to get that jump in the Mega Drive version. I can see like metrics to see how much my emotes are actually being used. If I could be bothered. I'm still waiting for animated emotes though. And speaking of which, I was always thinking when we were playing the Mega Drive version of this, the intro of that game where where the prince gets like a kid, where he gets like kicked down the stairs. He's like tumbling down the stairs, and you hear the scream. It's fucking hilarious. I thought it would make that like a alert or something. I don't think it would necessarily make for a great animated emote though, because it would have to be so tiny. Hipster opinion. Alright, okay. Oh yeah, you have to run here. Right. Land on that. More running here. Nope, not quite. for... There was some other text emote that I was thinking of recently, but I can't remember what it was. I can get him in the infinite against the wall. This level is not as tricky as I remembered it. Okay. I happened to line up just like because well, we got to see this, which is pretty sick. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Okay, and there's the exit. Okay. Didn't really cost us much time. I was just about to comment on, hey, 30 minutes. Well, we have less than half of the game left, so that should be fine. But, well, I mean, we might still be fine. If you walk up to a ledge or a trap, the jaw trap specifically. Yeah, it's a good sound effect. Like next, I won't fall down. He will always like only move as much as he has to. And that's true for the jaw traps too. No, what? Okay, sure. But if you're already standing at point blank distance, you will start to step through, of course. And I ran up to it and happened to end up at point blank distance. So I took a sneaky step, expecting to, you know, just walk up to it. But I started walking through. And that was my undoing. Does this metrics tell you the top user for an emote? I can't remember offhand. It might. But you can see, the data you can see is like how many times it's been used in your channel and in other channels. Stuff like that. I haven't looked into it too closely, but basically you can get some idea of the relative popularity of emotes. It's health. I don't need that. I save a little bit of time. I'm always like scared to keep running through the screen transition. Not exactly knowing what you're jumping into. Save a few seconds. There's like a health up there, which I don't need, so... Like, that specific ledge grab in this game, there's just something... intensely satisfying. Like, on a... just a physical level. Feels so good. That's right, you have to hurry up here. Fuck, I forgot about this. I just happened to do it properly last time, huh? So I can't step on that or I won't be able to make the jump. So I have to take the damage here. I guess that's why there's extra health here. Okay, okay, well, fine. Okay, that's not exactly what I intended, but we're alive. We got to hear the scream. That's pretty good. I was literally just about to say, like, well, if I die now, we're gonna start wasting some time. But I guess we're just making it interesting. Of course, the final set of levels is things start becoming more challenging. Not exactly the final difficult level. Can I reach there? Nice, that's exactly what I just saved a tiny bit of time. Nice, okay. But at this point, I'm like mostly experimenting to see if I can get the hang of certain timings. Because I'm kind of thinking I could, you know, load a save game and try to clear the final levels. But I think I would still prefer to just do a full run of the game. I mean, just play it until the time limit's over. And then start a new game. Because obviously a successful game shouldn't be more than an hour. A little bit, you know, accounting for saving or copy protection or taking a short break or what have you. But it's not even 8 p.m. and we've got more than 2 hours of stream time here, so I should basically be able to have time for... That was really stupid. I could have stopped, but I was like, let's try to jump it. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, I have time for more than 2 full runs. So, I'll want to consider this like my practice run, basically. I may be being a little needlessly careless. Wow, you even made it to the middle spot there. What this is for. But it's gonna just like refresh my memory a little bit. It's so annoying though, because but this is how it goes usually. Like I was actually quite close to clearing the level, relatively speaking, anyway, on my first attempt, and then I keep getting really sloppy. But yeah, I basically forgot that there's one more screen. There's the guard, and I thought the pit was on this screen. So I forgot. I have to dodge this. And forgot, like, yeah, I just had a complete misread of the level layout, which I think actually was the case when I played this. The other versions of this last year too. Let's save that. Yeah, because I'm getting it mixed up with that guy. I'm seeing a guard, and that's my cue to know that the next screen is the jump. But I'm getting the 2 guards mixed up. That's the thing that I totally forgot last time we got this far, is that when you're up here, you gotta be careful not to just walk off this ledge, because if you do, you'll probably fall down. After hitting this switch, you have to kind of keep going. But it might be timed so that you can just run. Yeah, that's what I had that vague recollection. So that's actually really easy. You just have to keep your cool and know that you can do it that way. And it's actually not difficult at all. Okay. Input's got a bit weird there. Okay. Yeah, my input's got weird again. Just play it safe. Fine. Just keep forgetting to check. I don't think there's anything up there. So now there's the double. So yeah, I'm gonna play it safe. Just do this from a distance. I know. There we go. So this is a bit different, I guess. I think I'm like used to the Super Nintendo version where the mouse thing is Very different. Like it's in a different level. Well, the levels are all kind of different. Alright, that was a little uncomfortable, but we made it. I forget exactly how the timer works once you get to the final level / levels. And that's also something that's not the same in every version. Like, if we were to save scum it, we could definitely do it from here. Although, I want to say that the final level is actually pretty long. Well, we got a third of the time left. And we've got, I believe, I guess a third of the game left in sheer numbers. But you have, like, level 7 that's, like, 3 screens long. Level 6 maybe is. I always get tripped up with the number levels, too. I think it's 12, but I'm unsure. Because I know also that the Mega CD version had, like, a unique final level similar to the Super Nintendo version. I don't expect to be here in this version. I'm not sure. Yeah, the animation is playing over the screen transition. Oh yeah, it's just gonna drop me back down and get a bit wacky. So I guess. Oh yeah, okay, I remember this part. Like a switch, you can fuck this up. I think the tile right. Actually, let's try this. The tile right in front of the door is a switch, right? Yeah, that closes the door. And the tiles up top there are loose. So I want to keep those intact. Except I can't. Because that's right. Okay. So you have to, like, do that. Okay. I just remember there's something fucky about, like, this screen, it's a little more, it's a little deceptive. But yeah, you have to go this way, because otherwise you can't climb up without the guard pushing you into the spikes. So I guess you can actually take this route. Yeah, that works out. So there is something to get. Oh, no, right. You have to. Oh, I remember this being completely fucked in the Mega Drive version. Like, I remember there being some really awkward trick to getting that tile to fall without falling down yourself. But in versions that actually control properly, it's trivial. That's kind of that's kind of how the Mega Drive version goes. Like, it's just messed up. So a lot of things that are not supposed to be particularly, like, not supposed to be especially challenging just end up being so. There'd be a loose tile. So I want to say this is the level with the upside down potion. I always forget where I want to go. I'll be happy to forego an upgrade if it keeps us alive. I think I could have gone up there. So I think, yeah, I think this might be it. Let me just take a look and see what's up left. No, that will flip the screen upside down, because it looks like a health extension, but it's not. But there's some stuff, like, down here. Is this poison? Let's just do research. Nope, that's the upside down one. See, I always. But I want to say that there's like a second one. This is fine, yeah. I know that there's like jaw trap shit here. Yeah, because there's like a second one, but this actually just hurts you, maybe? Nope. Nice. So this was just a big old waste of time, I guess. But I mean, if we clear the level, still okay. As far as the suspended bridge, like, I assume that there's not like a physical gap between the platforms and the back wall, right? So anything that isn't attached through like pillars to the floor, probably like attached to the back wall or even the front wall. I mean, the level's not like physically open, right? I guess. I don't know. Yeah, this is the screen I was thinking of. Yeah, and doing this upside down is not fun. It's not like actually different, but it's just... it's harder for some reason. Minutes, shit. Whoa, sword, please. So, is this just open? It is, so this will open the exit, I should think. That wasn't too bad, frankly. We got the double flip, the upside down. And we're back in the temple, or palace, rather. This is basically the final stretch. This is like the stuff with the collapsing roofs, I think. There's like, the exit is over here, I think. I think this is like a waste of time, but I just want to check. Yeah. Because you want to basically... Actually, is there a... Yeah, we just do this. Save 2 seconds. Right! I forgot about that. So that's pretty funny, like, it's just preying on your instincts. To not, like, run into a screen. Like, that's some of the things that this game does so well, like... the escalation of the challenge, and it's sort of... playing with your knowledge. Yeah, we can't fight that guy from the right. I remember this level had some very strange some changes, some like nonsensical changes in the Mega Drive version. Like some things were just like moved by a single tile. Yeah, this guy's got the high ground. Okay, so that's the one you don't want to push. Maybe none of them? Can you make that jump? Okay. Maybe go up. Oh, let's see, I can't go up through here, of course. Some of these later levels have some kind of pretty devious design where you're kind of led to believe you're supposed to do one thing, but you're in fact supposed to go a completely different route, or at least you can. This shit's always satisfying. Oop. I'm pretty sure I can't fight this guy. He will just hit us. So I'm pretty sure I legitimately cannot get through here. So I can't hit that tile. You know what? Maybe I am supposed to go to the left at the beginning. Yeah, that doesn't work. Can I, like, go up here or something? Yeah. Oh, but I can go up there. That's right. See, yeah. I'm not sure how much that's gonna help me or if this is where I'm supposed to go, but I can go up here. Oh, I didn't mean to turn around. That's fine. There might be a door here. Just shut in my face, yeah. But that's gonna keep this door open, I guess. Or whatever that's worth. That's kind of what I was thinking on when I was on level 8 too, knowing that, like, yeah, there's some later levels that are gonna take some trickery. What about this? No, there's nothing down there, right? Well, depends on your definition of nothing, I guess, but... I can't have that thing fall... The loose tile in the ceiling isn't... It's further to the left. I can't knock it loose by just touching the ceiling. Okay, there's gotta be... Didn't mean to do that. Gotta be able to get through here? Oh, okay, I didn't actually explore much. Yeah, okay. See, that's what I figured. I didn't want to stop on the suspended tiles above the spikes. I'll take a sword hit, you know. Yeah, but I have these, like, vague recollections about specifics. Like, sometimes I see the first screen of a level and go like, yeah, this is the level where this happens, right? And sometimes I'm just like, yeah, I know I'm gonna get screwed over by something here, but I can't remember what it is exactly. And yeah, there's like... Good thing the Royal Guards are trained well enough to take on a commoner. Well, I guess these are just the shitty guards that are on Jafar's payroll. That's what I'm going with. Wait, is there... Did I not check the ceiling here? Aha. Oh. Yeah, I guess you can see that from that other screen. Yeah, I remember this screen being all messed up in the Mega Drive version. That guy made it out surprisingly okay. So this is from the early... Yeah, this is the first guy over there. I had a literal entire fucking roof fall on him. But I guess he was off screen, so he was fine. So, buttons that stick out of the floor should be good buttons. They're not gonna close doors. Whereas invisible buttons, or like buttons that don't stick up, are they're gonna close doors. I guess we go up here again in this screen, probably. Hopefully, I remembered correctly in that we are not supposed to. So you can always safely touch the ceiling under pillars, because the tile that's above the pillars are never going to fall down. I want to say you can actually drop down here. Nope, okay. Well, that's what I get. Because it's like, yeah, you're close to the guard, it's probably going to attack you. I wanted to say that you can do that safely. That appears to not have been the case. That's right. I love this game, though, so even if we game over on the final stage, we'll just do another run. See, and that's important knowledge. That's data. We're collecting data. Some might argue that it's data we could have done well without. I didn't need it. We still could have cleared the level. That's fine. I chose poorly in terms of deciding when to look at chat. Yeah, I don't need to do that. So yeah, in case you were confused about what happened there, why I died, if you get hit without holding your sword, you die in one hit. What happened right at the beginning of this encounter was I was in the act of drawing my sword when I got hit. As long as you have started to draw your sword, you'll be fine. But as I was falling down from that ledge, there apparently was not enough time for me to begin drawing my sword, and I got killed. I could have taken the 2 seconds to walk over to the right side of the screen and drop down, and I would have had time. But now I know that I actually have to do that. Right, so alright, this is where... So in fact, you don't even have to fight that guy. Okay. Fine, we're learning. This is level 10, right? I'm pretty sure... Well, in some versions, I think there's something funky going on with the timer in, like, the final stage. I don't think that's... I think that's, like, a Super Nintendo thing, maybe. I don't think it's gonna... I think we'll be perfectly able of game overing at any point. But, holding on hope. In fact, I mean, it's fine, though, because if I beat the game now, I'm like, well, not sure what to do for the rest of the stream. Although, actually, that's not true, because I got something else. But, it's satisfying. There's no slowdown or anything. In a lot of versions of this game, whenever there's, like, a couple of tiles... Dude, the sound effects are so good. When there's like a couple falling tiles at once, the game drops to like 10% speed. Right. Yeah, I think the sound effects in this are awesome. Three minutes left. Well, we should be able to clear this stage at least. Well, I should be able to. It doesn't mean I will be able to, but... That's the thing, though. There's 2 more stages, I believe, after this, so... Oh yeah, I didn't even touch it. I didn't need to climb up. Even if we clear this stage... I'm still gonna game over in the next stage. Sword fighting feels good, though. Okay. I guess I'll do another save here, even though it won't help us much. Level 11. Yeah, this is the other one with the where you're running across like screens where like all the tiles on the floor, well, the ceiling on this screen, but the floor when you're above are gonna like collapse. But you can get a health extension over there. Yeah. So I kind of maybe fucked up there. Sick fucking coyote time. So yeah, you can't climb up there because the tiles are all loose. I want to say that this stage isn't like super long though. I mean, it's not short enough, I would say, but I think if I remember correctly, there's like a pretty cool jump you do over here in a screen or two. Okay, that's not what I was thinking of. Alright, we got the seconds counting. Oh, right. Okay. You have to drop these tiles. I still got it. Yeah, you're not invincible when you're crouching, but the animation of getting up from the crouch is invincible. That's right. So you drop these, because what happens is... once these are already, like, depressed, basically, stepping on them will have no effect, so the gate won't close. But once I got up there, I could have gone to the left to go get that potion. Yeah, I think the next screen is maybe that cool jump I was thinking of. 10 seconds, let's see if we can see what's going on. Yeah, because I think you just do a running jump here. Yeah. Time has expired! Alright, it's time. Alright, that's it. Okay, no like text or anything. Well, level 11 on my first try, my warm-up run, having not played this in about a year, I guess. I can't be mad at that. I had like 4 deaths or something on level 8, which was a huge time waster. And level 10. I mean, I cleared it, and then I had to do it over again. So, if I take out, like, let's say I had 1 death on level 8, and let's say I had 1 death on level 10, we would have probably had an extra, at least 5 minutes. So, like, the timer is pretty tight, but not, you don't have to play perfectly. And of course, the way the game works, like, you can absolutely... Even you know, disregarding the save feature in this version of like going back to levels, just starting over, you know, you can easily just make multiple attempts, and like you will get better at the game. You will learn the levels, because like there's no randomness. Once you know the levels and you know the tricks and you know keep your cool in combat, like you can generally perform quite consistently. The night is still young. We definitely have time for another attempt. So I'm gonna hope and trust that I can finish this. Because I'll be honest, well, maybe we did in the PC Engine version or the Mega CD version last year. But I was gonna say, I'm not sure like how often or if I've ever really finished Prince of Persia like in a single run. I feel like I always like end up you know, if I'm playing like this, I'm gonna be like, fuck it, let's just load a save game or use a password or whatever. Or we're gonna do another attempt, and if we don't beat it, then we'll see if maybe we'll continue on Wednesday. I mean, I could play this all week. However, before we do our next attempt, I'm gonna take a short break. I desperately need to go to the bathroom, and I should probably just stretch a little bit and whatnot. This game's pretty sick, though. But I'll be back in a couple of minutes for our next attempt of Prince of Persia. See you guys in a little bit. Okay. Back. And, ready to go? I think so. I guess we'll reset the timer. And, well, we got the bad ending, so let's see if we can get the good ending. So, let's do it. Hopefully, we can remember all that we learned. Like I said, I feel like I probably missed some health upgrade at some point, etc. But I'm sure, like, combat's not that taxing. If I basically follow the same route again, like, frankly, there's that level 9, I think it is, extra detour for a health upgrade that I probably maybe don't need, but it's, like, pretty fun to get. We're not gonna bother with any, Whoa! Okay, that was a pretty cool trick. I almost fucking undid it by running down that hole, but that's fine. If I can avoid the, you know, the double upside down drinks and shit like that, you know, that'd be nice too. So I'm gonna try best as I can for at least a somewhat more optimal run. That was kind of weird. I mean, I hope I can beat the game. I always fucking forget about this screen. I don't know what it is, but I always assume that gate is this gate. And this is kind of one of the scarier fights in the game, I feel like, coming off of the end of the game, because with only 3 health pips, you got smaller margin for error. The guards are less aggressive early on, though, so... I'm not gonna stop to save every level. I wonder if we would have to do hopper protection again, by the way. We'll find out. I'm gonna hope that the cutscenes don't count against time. Alright. This game, I can't stop smiling whenever I play this game. This game's too fucking good. Well, at least I didn't get hit by that. I just remember we didn't do the Shadow Prince thing. That would have to be... Well, we'll get there when we get there. Up here. I'm just following, like, my instincts and vague recollections. But I think they mostly didn't really steer me wrong last attempt, so... Except for the upside down drink thing and whatnot, but... In the grand scheme of things... I haven't, like, specifically, I feel like, memorized much in particular. Just kind of... You can go up there, maybe? Let's actually check that. Because I'm also, like, obsessed with, like, trying to go fast. Because time is at a premium, you know? Right. Oh, okay. Okay, we're fine. Guess we didn't miss anything there. I mean, obviously things to a degree looks kind of samey. It's just health, and I think you can kind of like go back. No, I don't know. You know, with the same tile sets and everything, it's easy to get certain screens and stages kind of confused. Yeah, this is where you go up. And especially, I don't know, I guess in my mind at least, whenever I have the idea something being a particular way, whether that's accurate or not, sometimes it can be hard to shake that idea. Just kind of like, wait, this is where such and such is, right? And they're like, no, that's right, it's not. But I like retain the memory of that misconception. Like I remember remembering something, even though I remembered incorrectly. So I think you just keep going up here. I'm remembering that the rest of the level now. Yeah. You can, if you fuck up when you go hit the exit switch, you can kind of fall down there and come back through the lower route, I think. But you can't actually get up from there. You can just do a running jump, but I'm gonna stop here because I'm actually not sure if 2 tiles is enough to get a running jump from that side. I think that's one of those things that's like a little bit different in different versions. And I did not want to try and see if that was the case, because obviously if you do a running start and you don't have enough room to get the jump off, you're just gonna fall down. Alright. Skeleton stage. So here, I'm just gonna go up from here, because I believe that's what we're supposed to do. Yeah, and you run. Well, you don't run, but you jump to the right from here. Yeah, that's like 2.5 tiles, and that's like kind of enough. Ah, it's so fucking satisfying. I don't need that. Actually, nope, nothing. So that opens the door on the right, I guess. That switch. I'm not sure if jumping is faster than running. It feels like it. I mean, I guess it probably is, but I'm not actually entirely sure. There's a lot of those, like the minutia of the mechanics that I've never... Like all of my knowledge or experience of this game, it's all like just from feel, from playing it, so... I'm not sure if you maybe want to push him on the left side. I'm not sure if it matters. I guess we're about to find out. Yeah, I was gonna say, I think he, like, kind of ends up in that same spot. Even though realistically he should, like, if you fall down on the left, he should not be on this floor. Like, he should be on that down here. But if he was, you couldn't really fight him, so... Okay, pretty smooth. Pretty smooth. So if we're on 9 minutes, we should be at like 52 minutes left or something. Because there's some, like, I think hope the clock's not ticking when the music is playing, and then we got some cutscenes and stuff. We have at the very least 50 minutes left. So this is the first palace stage. And there's some bit of 51, yeah. Time wasty crap, but there is a health extension here, I believe. So I guess if you're gonna want to skip health extensions, you gotta piece together which ones are the most costly in terms of time. Okay. I fucked up that part kind of last time. Alright, I'm not gonna want to... I mean, I guess you could probably do a fancy running jump through that, but... let's not. Alright. That's perfect. We don't want to do an unnecessary fight to go back to the start of the level, so we're not gonna go left. So the fact that you draw the sword there is like a giveaway that that floor is not going to break. Of course, it's not going to because that's the... Actually, probably not. I was going to say it's a switch down there. I don't think it is. So we got the whole mirror situation coming up, but... Save that because there's not really any fighting left. Well, I'm not going to save it. I'm not going to drink it. We'll skip it is, I guess, what I meant to say. That is so scary. Let's not do a running start. Let's see if we can actually jump through the mirror first try properly here. There we go. The musical sting was playing, so we didn't get to hear the creepy mirror sound, but... we saved a couple of seconds. Trade I'm willing to make. Little spooky, little mystery jingle there. Okay, level 5. 49 minutes left. I have a feeling that we're doing better on time than last time. Of course, I'm being a little daring here by not saving, but I figured... I'm not going to want to actually load the saves. I'm going to want to do this in a single run, so why bother? So good. Already kind of don't remember what level this is, though. Okay, yeah. Shadow Prince is going to show up there. No, what the? Well, he gets to do his thing properly this time. I think we hit a switch there, which opens some other door, basically, on our left here. Okay, we missed that health. Hopefully it should be fine. I think there's health up there, too. I want to avoid pushing him down that ledge because it just kind of makes things a little more annoying to deal with. Might be something, or there's just nothing. I think that's basically nothing. Maybe there's an extension up there. I don't know. I'm gonna say I'm not gonna need that. We're going fast. No time to hesitate. No time for second thoughts. So this was level 5, I think? I think level 7 is the mid-boss. And then we get dropped down. Like, that's the short stage. So there's one more stage before that, I think. Nothing up there, I'm pretty sure. Scary. Oh, okay. No, it's just this stage. Oh, shit. The door is kind of, it's not a big time loss. The door opening makes the game run, like, ever so slightly slower. So, you can do a running jump there, I'm sure, but you have to do it earlier. Might as well just do that. Yeah, so like the parrying timing ended up being kind of weird. Dude, okay. The rallying a little bit tricky. Alright, we got him. I feel like maybe we're at 1 health less than we were last time. So basically, I think you could just fall down. Yeah. 7. Alright, we're still at 45 minutes. Yeah, that dude, he can handle his sword. Shit. I thought he would get got. Ooh, I gotta be careful. I can't allow that to be dropped. I thought this was level 8. I don't know, I got confused about which level is which here. That guy left a mess, that's for sure. That shit is so satisfying, though. I like the extra gruesome detail of the high-res graphics, too. I mean, it looks great in the DOS version, too, but... I like the way it looks here. Okay, I missed the button. Kinda weird. Alright, I'm gonna get a little gutsy here. Good, that's like kind of the tricky part. Let's play it safe. Pretty sure you can just jump from here. Yeah. Because, like, I remember that's where you come back. So this is definitely, it takes a little bit extra time to take this route, but it's really cool. And if you've taken a hit or two, it's, you know, it's gonna refill your health too, so. Technically, I guess you could do a running jump here, save 3 seconds, but I'm gonna say that I can afford to not save 3 seconds here and there. This part is scary though, because if you get pushed back and get knocked down here, you won't be able to get back up. So I want to be pretty aggressive here. Nice. Alright, I was about to say, like, I don't want to say the stage is over yet, because I'm sure we can get killed. I know better than to... See there, I operated under the assumption that I would be stepping through it, and I was correct to do so. Right, I gotta jump over this thing. Otherwise, that other gate closes, and that's a soft lock. Which is incredibly fucking... rude of the game. So that potion, of course, makes you fall slow, so you can survive this drop. This stage is pretty evil, frankly. A couple of soft lock type stuff. But hey, we got it first try. And we got the health extension, so... 40 minutes left. Which I guess means the timer is actually going while this is happening. I should skip this if we can. Lifu, thanks for the follow. Hang on a second. There we go. Alright. Can't even talk. All right. Mousy. Little mouse fella. Level 8. What level is this? Oh, okay, it is that level I was thinking of. It's just... I forgot how it started. We go through this, and then we drop down, and yeah, exactly. Mouse cursor. All right, there we go. Okay, I could feel that I was a little bit late. I can do a running jump over here, but let's be a little bit careful. And let's remember that we have to go really far to the right on this stage here. And there's going to be multiple screens with spikes. There's a guard on top of us on the next screen, I think. Yeah. And there's a spike trap on the next screen. Right. I'm remembering some things now. And there's another guard here that we have to fight. And then I think on the next screen, there's going to be a guard on top. And then is the screen with the pit we have to jump over. Nope, there's one more spike trap in between. There's the guard. And here's the pit. So I believe if we go up after crossing this gap, there is a potion. But I'm going to say we're not going to need it. Yeah, that was a little bit scary, actually. So after this, we're just going to fucking book it. We're going to continue booking it. Oh, I fucked it up. Restart level. Can't believe I fucked up that jump. That was a relatively costly restart, but promising that everything went smoothly up to that point. And I remembered everything correctly, more or less. So... jumped a split second too late. All right, okay, things are falling apart. We gotta gotta slow it down. Gotta regain composure. What's going on here? I'm taking like 6 hits on this guy. And if I just drink this, I'll be fine. But I mean, I feel like this is kind of where the game starts getting difficult. Up until this point, it's not so bad. I mean, there's some... I mean, you can die. But hey, I mean, that just goes to show I was completely correct in my judgment on that first attempt. By not trying to get fancy with any of these spikes. As you can see, you can start and stop running in spikes, and it's usually safe. You know, same with jumping. But if you're like late enough with the jump, sort of still be in your active running state as you touch that tile, like, yep, you're dead. So we're gonna have to fight at least one more guy after this. I think 2 guys. So I'm not gonna... can't really afford to skip more potions. So I'm pretty sure if I do a jump from here... yeah, I'll be safe. I was just about to say, I'm pretty sure... but I'm not entirely sure, so let's not do that. But then I did anyway. Alright, at least I feel good about not having missed that jump. It's not particularly difficult, but it just feels bad to miss it. Again, you gotta be a little careful here. Right now, I'm operating under the assumption that with a little bit of care, I can clear this stage on this attempt. So I want to make sure that I'm not failing due to losing health in a sword fight. That'd be a silly way to die. That would be an even sillier way to die. I really just panicked there, like, wait, is there another jump after this? Do I have to keep running? I lost count of jumps. We were done, but I wasn't sure. Good thing I was able to stop myself in time. And very barely, I might add. Alright, I can make it a standing jump here, no need to go overly fancy. There's more traps on the next screen. Like, this is exactly where you don't want to take a death for being impatient. I'm pretty sure I don't need to do anything here for the mouse to show up. I think I just have to wait. Sure if I have to go back once? No, there we go. I thought for sure the exit was on the next screen. I had a complete brain fart. Okay. Okay. The run is alive. But I really don't want another timely... I don't want a timely death. If I'm gonna have deaths, I guess I want them to be timely. I don't want untimely deaths. That's That's what I really don't want. I don't want costly deaths. Level 9. Right. Nine, 10. This is where it starts getting a little bit hazy. I mean, given the choice, I'd rather have a timely death than an untimely one, but ideally we're gonna try to avoid both. Trying to remember if this is the stage with the upside down shit. If it is, we know to avoid the green potions, but there's a health extension right there. I'll take the 3 seconds. We're doing, I think, pretty decent on time. So, yeah, I have to go top-wise. Still good. Again, let's play it a little bit safe. Fine, we're fine. We're fine. I didn't take this route last time, so... You're, like, not as tall when you jump, which seems counterintuitive, but he leans down really far. So you can actually jump to get through closing doors. In good versions of this game, anyway. We're good. We're good. Actually doing quite well on this attempt here. No major disasters. Just some slight minor disasters. Is this where I can go up? Okay. Got a few guards to fight here. And I'll rather keep him on screen. I'm not sure what's across that screen transition. Right, so I can go up here. I believe this will lead to the health extension and... Yes. Okay. So I'm still gonna drop down here. This might be the long way around, but it's the route I'm familiar with. Except it's not gonna be upside down now, like it was last time, so maybe that's... Fuck, there isn't... That is a waste of time. That's why I always get confused about this, because... there's the double layer of, like... extra confusion. From grabbing... Yeah, that's right, because we didn't actually do the part down here upside down after all. But I believe you still want to go down here? I'm not sure what's over to the right there if you take that path, but if this leads to the exit, I'm going to assume that other path does not. There's a dude to fight in the next screen, I want to say. Nope, that's not. there's the dude. And I think the exit's on the next screen. This is the door that we've opened before. Oh, I guess I can drop down here. Okay, sure. Take that. Yeah, I took a slightly longer route there, but that was also deathless, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, not bad, not bad. I think we're doing, we're probably doing pretty great on time, honestly. Are we still over 30 minutes? No, not quite. 27. The corner crossing. I remembered. We're fine. We're fine. Don't worry, guys. I just wanted to do that. All right. I did not remember. I was like, did they do something similar on the next screen? What are the odds? Like, no, there's probably a dude to fight. But hey, that was a timely death. It didn't really cost us much. I just wasn't able to ride the momentum of confidence after getting rid of this guy in a sick way. Well, like I said, if we're gonna take deaths, better they be timely than untimely. Alright, let's just keep running. Jump that as fast as you can, and then here we don't have to bother with this guy. We're just gonna do that. Drop some tiles over here. I'm not sure if these guys automatically die if they fall through tiles. I don't think this is a great opportunity to find out. He'll die from that because he'll at the very least take 1 damage. And I don't need to like jump that. It's a opening switch. Yeah, we're almost done with this level, actually. Alright, there's this guy left. I forgot about him. Oh yeah, that's a switch up there. I remember. Like, I'll remember screens, kind of what they look like and what's in them. But hallway screens like this, like I remember that this is to the left of the start, but the fact that there's an extra screen in between didn't really like stick. Let's not get killed by this dude. Alright, got him. Flawless victory. Okay. Level 11. This is as far as we made it. We ran out of time. We have 24 minutes left. I dare say we're doing quite a bit better here. Go up here. I forgot like when we want to eventually go up. It's not yet. The thing is, obviously, we're heading into pretty uncharted territory here. So we might need those 24 minutes. Fucking hell. Oh, this is actually like kind of bad. this is actually kind of like really bad. Yeah, well, that was just like that really awkward. No recorded speedruns of Mac Prince of Persia. Well, I feel like this probably is not gonna... Let's not repeat the same mistake of getting him in a bad spot. I mean, I'll take it, I guess. Right, so this... We're under the pillars here, so that's the safe spot. Oh, wait, hang on. How do I go to the left now? Making a mistake here shouldn't kill me. Can I drop that tile to go up? Yeah, because I can't... Yeah. Oh, well, I guess the trap has to be solid, right? Yeah, that works. That's a solid one there, too. Oh, that's a cool jump. Good thing I held the shift key. Okay, yeah, I figured, like, it had to be something like that. Yeah, because there's, like, pillars there, and I just didn't think to go up there. I did that in kind of a needlessly slow way. Actually, even the tile to the left of the trap was solid. You know what? I should actually... I don't want to, but we'll call it Future Prince. That's us. For the purpose of doing, like, testing stuff like that, maybe, but I don't know. We get this... Oh, I think we... Yeah, we think we'd like game over right after this, because I was like, I think this is a cool jump. And it was, but it wasn't the jump I was thinking of. And this is where we timed over. We just barely made that jump. There's records for Apple II prints, but not this one. Well, who knows? I mean, I feel like I would kind of like going for a Deathless. But I don't know if there's, like I said, in the DOS version, I know there's, like, speed tricks. With, like, clipping and stuff. Skip fights. I have no idea if there's anything like that in this version. I also don't know the exact number of stages. I think there's 12. There's any percent and 100%. That's interesting. Actually, it does make me curious how they qualify 100% then. If it's like all health extensions, maybe? All potions? You have to drink all the poison ones too. Although I guess there's probably potions that you like can't get without soft locking or whatever. Look at all that time. There's plenty of sand left in the hourglass. It'll be fine. Level 12. This is the final level. I recognize it. So, I guess we fight... Wait, hang on. This is a really cool gauntlet, but I thought we would have already... I guess I'm getting, like, so tripped up because... Yeah, I have to, like... Not do that, I guess. I guess you have to do a running jump, or you just start running. We'll see. Because the Super Nintendo and the Mega Drive versions, like, which are the ones I spent the most time with, I think, in the last year. Because I replayed the Super Nintendo version for my birthday, too. Okay, well, you have to do a running jump. I tried, but I fucked it up. Yeah, this level is like nothing but short segments like that where, like, there's pauses in between, but every single jump basically is like you have to do it correctly or you're dead. Which also makes it really cool, of course. But the other stages, or the other versions, like being different enough that I get the details mixed up. Oh yeah, so this one, you have to keep running. You have to do another running jump after that. And there's no... because the tile will break, if you stop and try again, there's not enough... there's not enough room to get up to speed for a running jump. I like completely froze up because I was like, wait, what did I have to do? I'm chalk it up to nerves, I guess. Oh, that's the 100% requirements. Drink all potions. Shadow Prince has to drink the potion. Kill all guards. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. You have to kill the skeleton by dropping in the pit. Okay, yeah. Shit, that shit feels really good. I think we should be able to drop this without falling down. Okay. Maybe, maybe not. I have done it, but maybe it's really weirdly specific. Alright, I don't have to do a running jump here, so I won't. This is such a cool level, though. I really like it. Some ominous final stage music would be sick, but... Okay, just checking. Of course, in this version, music would mean no sound effects, basically, so... I remember doing a lot of weird, like, trial and error to figure out what the fuck was going on in the Mega Drive version, because we couldn't... couldn't understand what you were supposed to do. I guess we had to keep running? Yep. Hang on. You need to get enough speed for a running start here. To jump and then keep running. I guess we fight the shadow here. Okay. Oh my god! Okay. I was too fast. Alright, let's we have the stage figured out. I was like mashing down to sheath my sword. But not before he was able to get an attack out. So I needed to parry that first. Maybe create some space. I always think that you fight Jafar at the end of the stage. You have to do a... Oh my god. Running jump. 14 minutes should be enough. But like I said, if we actually fail, then we're going to do more attempts on Wednesday. Even if I keep fucking stuff up now, I am perfectly confident that I have it in me to beat the game. I could tell that was too late. You have to, like, the running jumps, because it is, like, properly snapping to the grid, and I'm, like, sort of not used to it, I guess. I don't know. You kind of require... Well, Well, you don't always require more lead up, but it depends on how you align with the grid, basically. So I was even thinking about it when I got it right last time. Like, I should get a feel for the timing based on the screen transition. Not really visually where I am on screen or anything, but just like a split second after the transition. All right, we need the running start here. All right, okay, we're good. I feel like that's like kind of the trickiest part. Yeah, so you can do that. Sometimes your own worst enemy, and that's definitely true. Definitely true. And forward. Again, I'm gonna hold on here just to take a quick peek. Right, so we just gotta run across. There's no like big jump. Even there, I could have stopped on this screen and be safe. We just need to jump across that gap and then run. So I guess the Shadow Prince drops down and picks up that sword. That's what that sword is. Run. Like this half, this part of the stage, not really giving us any grief. Yeah, this is a tense level. That's why it's cool. Okay, I guess the sword is already missing. There we go. All right. Now we're all flashy. Which means, knock on wood, we can just walk across this bridge. In the Mega Drive version, you have to do a perfectly timed running jump. Because the bridge tiles only start... I think that's a checkpoint, by the way. They only start... after, like, 3 empty tiles. At least in some version, that's a checkpoint. Additionally spooky. Alright. Jafar. So this, I guess, is the same... the DOS version. Well, we'll see. Okay. Ten minutes left. All right. Okay, here's the part I'm curious about. I'm like tense. Boom, we got it. It's time. I had to alt tab that for a second. 54, the sub hour. Hey, little mousie's there too. That's a good little sprite. Man, that's like tense. The tyrant Jafar lies dead, his power shattered. Throughout the land, the people of Persia hail their princess, the brave youth who saved her from the forces of darkness. No longer a stranger, he shall from this day forth be known as Prince of Persia. They said the thing. Whew. Dude, this game fucking owns. Hail, Prince, please enter your name for the historical record. $9.59. Technically not the sub 50, but 50 minutes 1 second. Oh, that was satisfying. Man, I feel good about that. Yeah, proper full run. Certainly not perfect. We had at least one or two costly deaths. I mean, yeah, even the final stage, there we had like 2 silly deaths. And maybe 1 or 2 additional reasonable death. Yeah, the way the high score works, it shows you how much time you have left. We did not beat the game in 9 minutes, 59 seconds. We beat the game with 9 minutes, 59 seconds remaining. So, I mean, that was a good run, but hardly perfect. And, I mean, about 10 minutes remaining is obviously a decent chunk. Like, if you go into this blind and not, you know, without familiarity with the mechanics or whatnot, like, it's pretty tricky. I mean, I definitely never beat this game as a kid. No version of it, really. I think the Super Nintendo version was probably the first one I beat, but even then, I definitely used passwords. I mean, the most recent time we played the Super Nintendo version on my birthday last year, I was like... I mean, that was like after streaming for like 8 hours that I started playing it or whatever. So I was maybe not at my, you know, peak physical condition or anything. But I remember thinking naively that, hey, I know this game pretty well. I should probably be able to just beat it on one attempt. And that was not the case. I mean, we finished the game, but I used password, like I basically was save scumming. So I mean, it takes, I would say, a good amount of practice to get it. Not like, I don't say that to brag or anything. I just mean that it's a very well-tuned game. The difficulty, I think, is just right. Yeah, I guess I got the 50 minutes, 1 second, any percent. I can't in good conscience say I got the world record because I think many people have beaten this game in this version. I mean, much less, I definitely can't say the real-time record because we're playing a modified version that runs faster. Which I guess probably would make it ineligible for a speedrun anyway. I mean, technically, it probably makes the game harder? Actually, I don't know. I mean, you could argue that it makes it harder, or like that a slower running version gives you more time to react. But I think this actually is easier. I would have more problems. I would struggle more with... I would struggle more with the slower version, I think. So for those who missed it, we... apparently, this version, the Mac version of the game, just sort of shipped with a bug, I guess you could call it, an oversight that makes the game run slower. I guess I can't say slower than it should, but it runs slower than the DOS version. Nothing to do with performance, just the way the game is coded. So this is like a hex edited. Someone found the sleep timer in between every game tick. Because the game runs at like 15 FPS or something. Like it runs at a lower frame rate. So it has to be throttled to like not run super fast anyway. It was just not done correctly, I guess. Oh yeah, I mean, I'm sure most people who speedrun this do it on DOSBox or whatever else. Like, I don't think most people do it on real hardware. I'm just saying, I'm not saying this would be disqualified due to it being an emulator or anything like that. It's just that it is a modified version of the game. It's like a hacked version of the game that runs at a different speed. Not that I'm playing this for like speedrun fame and glory or anything. I'm playing it because I absolutely love this game. And I think this is a great version, honestly. Like, the graphics I think are cool. I like them a lot. Frankly, I think I would maybe prefer the way it looks on one of the, like, whichever Japanese PC version has, like, like, they get kind of weird. Like, the PC98 version, if you look at it, you'll recognize the graphics are the same, but they're all, like, it's got that PC98 thing where everything is sort of dithered and what's the word? I mean, I guess it's dithered, and you kind of need to have it sort of filtered to look or displayed on the correct display. If you're not familiar, like PC98 art is kind of peculiar. A lot of it's gorgeous and awesome, but it can be, I mean, PC88 is kind of a lot more so, but even on PC98 you can have stuff that looks a bit funky. And for all I know, like this, again, there's the FM Towns version, the Sharp 68000, X68000, and what other? I think there's probably some other version. I think they're all like basically share the same graphics, but they're drawn maybe a little bit differently, or maybe they're more optimized. You know, like sometimes you might have an Atari ST game ported to the Amiga, and they look the same because it was made for the Atari ST, so it looks kind of weird on the Amiga as a result. Maybe there's something like that with the Japanese PC versions. I'm not sure. Overall, I think they did a good job with like translating the graphics in this version, but every now and then there's like peculiarities that just look a little bit amateurish in a way. Whereas I mentioned the gates, like the skulls and stuff on the exit doors. There's a few other details like that just to me, and the life bar actually, the life bar bottles. Those to me, like something about the color choice and how it's. I can't put my finger on it, but there's something about the pixel art on those particular elements that just scream Japanese PC game to me. Especially, or you know, at least knowing that's actually where the graphics come from. What was I gonna say? Like if you look at those little bottles, like with the bright green highlights, like they look so Japanese PC to me. Heard that the X68K version runs poorly. Yeah, I don't know. I've never seen any of them in motion. I've just seen screenshots. I do have an X68000 emulator because we were playing Final Fight at some point. I've yet to dip my toes in PC98 emulation. I'm gonna have to ask Trap or McCaw or someone to hook me up and help me set that stuff up at some point. I'm not gonna like jump into it right now or anything, but I definitely want to play those versions. I mean, needless to say, there's a million PC98 games that I would love to play at some point. Spectrum version, yeah, but that's like a recent thing, right? It didn't come out at the time. It's like a fan-made thing. There was as I mentioned before, there was a fan-made Atari 8-bit computer version that also came out last year, I think. That seems pretty neat. Seems pretty impressive. I feel like with all these like super fancy Mega Drive homebrew projects coming up currently into the near future, I wish someone would take it upon themselves to either fix the version that's on Mega Drive or like make a port or something. Because man, it would be pretty fucking sick to have an actual good version on there. I mean, the Mega CD version is good. Yeah, the Mega Drive version to me is definitely the one that sort of pains me the most because it seems like it would be so awesome and then it just isn't. Awesome to look at, but it's upsetting to play because you'll get killed by so many things that shouldn't get you killed, basically. It's like you're getting fucking gaslit by that game. The Mega Drive version just like makes you doubt your own sanity because you keep thinking like, surely this jump, you should be able to make this jump, like this should work, and then it just doesn't. And then the fifth, like it works just often enough to make you maintain that like grasp of your sanity, and like you start questioning yourself, but you still have that shred of hope that like, no, maybe it actually kind of works, maybe it kind of is good, and then it's like, nah, sadly. So I think what this version has going for it, of course, is the graphics and the sound, which I think the sound effects I want to say are like mostly the same as DOS, but I'm not sure if the DOS version had like MIDI music. Surely the music doesn't sound this good on DOS. Like I don't think that version had these like samples. But I haven't played that version in forever either, frankly. I guess we're probably gonna have to revisit that version too. But as far as like vanilla ports that don't change or add anything, aside from just like adapting the graphics and stuff, I think this has to rank up there as one of the better versions. I really, aside from maybe the speed thing, which at least playing it this way alleviates, I can't really think of anything I dislike about this version. There are maybe, you know, a few aspects of the character sprites that look a little funny. Maybe it looks better on PC98, maybe it looks better on whichever other version. But certainly no major flaws. I'd just as well play this version as the DOS version. I mean, I'd probably rather play this version. One thing I was curious about then, I was sort of hinting at it, I guess, is at the end of the game. On the Mega CD version, which I forget, I think Bits Laboratory made that port, which is in turn sort of adapted from the PC Engine version, and I don't remember if they were both the same, but at least one of those two versions, but probably both, have an extra Jafar fight at the end. Like, if you guys have played the Super Nintendo version, you may remember, like, there's a super epic fight against Jafar at the very end where he, like, he's got his full armor and he can, like, cast magic spells and shit. It's, like, super sick. What's up, Barbie? Things are going great. We just finished Prince of Persia on the Mac, and it was a grand old time. And I always knew that as like something unique to the Super Nintendo version, so I was really stunned when I played again, I think it was in the Mega CD version, where after you clear the final stage is the same as the final stage in this game, and I think the original Jafar fight is still there. You fight him on the bridge and everything, but as you enter the door, you come to that final hallway leading up to the princess's chamber. You face off against Jafar again, and I think there's a similar thing too. You're like teleported to this like the fucking Shadow Realm, and you fight him, and it's a similar thing to the Super Nintendo version, where there's like a unique scene with a unique background, but it's a little less elaborate. The fight itself, I think, is a little less elaborate. But I was really surprised because I always thought that was like something that was completely unique to the Super Nintendo version. Is this like part of a level? I don't recognize this stuff at all. So I imagine, like, sure, that has to have been added, because he's got, like, the PC Engine and Mega CD versions have, like, anime cutscenes. And anime Jafar has, like, blue skin, and he's got this kind of exaggerated look to him. So I kind of made the assumption, I don't know, maybe you guys know, and if you do, by all means, don't spoil me on that, because I'll figure it out when we play them at some point. But I wonder if that extra boss fight at the end was something that Arsys made for their PC versions. Because Arsys, again, to my knowledge, also developed the Super Nintendo version. But like I said, there's a lot of different developers for a lot of these different ports, and there's some crossover between some of them, but it's not... I'm sure you could piece it all together, but from just looking at it quickly, like, it's a lot to take in, and it's a little confusing, so I'm not exactly sure. This, of course, was not developed in Japan, this version, so this would have been based more closely on the DOS version. Like, the intro, the title screens, and all that is just like the DOS version. So I'm not surprised that this doesn't have additional boss fights or anything like that. But as I was still curious, because obviously the graphics are from the Arsys-developed Japanese PC version originally. I was like, maybe they would have taken some contents from there too, I don't know. Or maybe those versions don't have that extra stuff at the end. Maybe it was added for the console versions. Yeah, this game was on a lot of platforms. The Mac version is one of the later ports from that kind of initial run, so to speak. I think the Super Nintendo version was also 92 or maybe 93. A lot of the other ports were, I think, probably like the Mega Drive version was probably also like 92 or something. Many of those Japanese PC versions were 90 or 91. That's right, Atomic Run. I remember looking that up. That checks out. So I think it was a kind of a homebrew thing. It was not a commercial release, but it was, yeah, just an early release of that kind, so to speak. Early as in, you know, late for a Spectrum release, but early in terms of our current understanding of like homebrew development for retro systems. At least I'm fairly sure it was not a commercial thing. I can't really say how it could be. But there was the I don't have it to show on screen, but the little cheat sheet I have for the copy protection was taken from a 1994 CD-ROM release of Prince of Persia 1 and 2 for the Mac. Actually, I think it was one of those Mac and DOS compatible CD-ROMs. Which actually reminds me, we have a little bit of time left. I don't mind cutting the stream a little bit early. We achieved what we set out to for tonight's stream. But someone mentioned, I forget what it was, something about something looking good in black and white. That's what you said there, Glowforge. Yeah, this game played the DOS version on monochrome monitor. So what we can do actually, it's gonna look a little bit funky, I guess, with the screen set up the way it is, but we can actually change my virtual Mac here to black and white. And this game has a black and white mode. So as you can see, it's running in lower resolution. It's a different set of unique Mac graphics. So this would be the most unique graphics. Of course, the color graphics are unique. They're not the same as the Japanese PC versions, but they are kind of adapted from it. And that's true for this as well, but it's in a lower resolution. So the color graphics are for 640 by 400. These are for, I guess, what was it, 512 by 342? Black and white Mac resolution. And I believe there's a third graphics mode, which is this same resolution, but in color. But there's no way for me on this current setup to access that mode, because it will only run that mode if that's what your computer is running. And I can't change the screen resolution, so if I change the color, we'll just get the full-size color mode. I imagine some of the dithering is going to look a bit fucked on stream. It's hard to get around. But let's... For a laugh, let's just see how this looks. Let's do stage 1. Like, you know, if I had a black and white Mac to play this on, and if it ran this well... Actually feels slightly fast, almost. Like, yeah, it's definitely not a bad-looking game. Like, there's such a... Maybe I'm saying this because we've just played the other versions, and I'm, like, familiar with other versions, but it doesn't feel like graphics... Like, it feels like ported graphics, so to speak. Like, it doesn't feel like the game was designed around these graphics. But it looks nice. Like, the resolution is nice and sharp still. Like, it's very easily readable. The sword is a little hard to see, but hey, it's shimmering. And the flashing is it's not made any better by being in black and white. But yeah, it's still just pretty cool. The game just came with, like, support for all these different modes. But I mean, hey, I guess that was computer game development was like at the time. How all these, not just platforms that are all different, even on the same platform, so many different specs. Newspaper comic strip. It's definitely a unique look. See, that's what I was saying before. Like, games that were designed around it and made good use of the monochrome high-res mode, like, they look awesome. Like, for sure, you know, Shadowgate and whatnot, the ICOM Mac Ventures, as they were called originally. A lot of people, understandably, are mostly familiar with the NES versions, but they were Mac games originally. And they were black and white. And to me, like, those versions, I mean, those are the versions I grew up with. I had those games. Well, I mean, I didn't really play them. They were too scary and difficult for me. But I watched my older brothers play them. Alright, copper protection. For those who missed it. Yeah, so we get, like, we're gonna find a word in the manual, and we're gonna drink the potion corresponding to the first letter of that word. Oh, that's not correct. Probably not Q. All right, let's take an L. We took an L. I think the game's actually gonna quit. Oh, okay, no, it just starts back over. But even some cases ports, like I had a black and white version of Space Quest 1 we had on a black and white Mac when I was a kid. And you look at the graphics in those early AGI Sierra adventure games, and it's like hard to imagine how they would translate because they don't have like outlines or anything. Like it's all very stark colors. So the way, as I remember it, those games had like mostly the same graphics, but they basically had different dithering patterns, like in place of different colors. Because I know I didn't have it at the time. I had it much later, but for some reason I came across the black and white version of Police Quest, the original. Space Quest, like that was the version of Space Quest I played as a kid, the black and white Mac version. The version of Police Quest that I played, like those games a friend of mine had on Amigas, we played those versions, but I came across that Mac version of Police Quest, I said much later, but it was probably in the late 90s, on some file sharing thing. It was just like, oh, hey, Police Quest, I know that game. Like, oh, it's in black and white. All right, that's kind of neat. That's like Space Quest, you know? Even though at that point I'd played other versions of Space Quest. I played the DOS version, I think. But yeah, whether it's original or ported, in some cases the monochrome Mac graphics are just going to look really, really awesome. In other times they're going to look kind of weird, but interesting in their weirdness, or you know, or just like interesting in how they've been adapted. There's also like, oh, dude, we should totally play Fool's Errand. That was a game. I love that game as a kid. I mean, it's all a lot of it is word puzzles and writing and stuff, which would have gone way over my head as a kid. I mean, I barely knew English, of course. I was like 5. But just the visuals and the presentation of Fool's Errand is so cool. And there was a DOS version. There's like a color version, but to the best of my knowledge, the black and white Mac version is the original. And so much of that game's presentation, I feel like sort of hinges on the monochrome look of it. That yeah, like I said, like now that I have multiple ways actually kind of running Mac stuff, I'm gonna definitely have to do a little more digging and pull up some other games, both stuff from my childhood and maybe stuff I never really played, but just exploring some classic Mac gaming. So this is the black and white version of POP1. Let's quit out of here. We'll go back to 256 colors. Yeah, I mean, as you guys know, there's plenty of games back there to be played. We have other Prince of Persia games I want to get to. There's a lot of other stuff. I can't promise that Fool's Errand or any other Mac gaming is gonna be like immediate, but there's definitely stuff that I do want to play at some point. But Fool's Errand is a really, really cool game. It's like kind of an adventure game, but it's all, I don't know what you would like. It's kind of narrative, but it's all these like sort of disconnected vignettes, and some of them are like, it's mostly kind of puzzle based stuff, but they're very different kind. Like some are sort of like crosswords, other are tile matching things, and it's got this kind of tarot deck theme around it, like, or the sort of astrology theme about it. So a lot of the sort of mini games or puzzles, what have you, are sort of based around that. I just remembered having a really cool vibe and atmosphere. And I'm pretty sure the version we had when I was a kid, it was like busted. It was like some files were like broken, so it was not, you could not complete it, I'm pretty sure. So I guess that would be cathartic to some degree to actually finish it. Before we wrap up, I don't want to promise that we're going to do this like immediately or soon, because I'm not sure it's actually properly running. But why don't we take a look at Prince of Persia 2 on the Macintosh? Just before we wrap things up, just take a quick look. And if you're not familiar with this version, you might not realize how sick it actually is. So as I mentioned before, it runs in kind of a weird resolution, so we're going to also have some black bars probably because I haven't set this up yet. When I tried this, both in this emulator and another one, it was seemingly not quite running at the correct speed, and it was sort of stuttery and seemed a little weird. I was focusing on getting the first game running for today, and I haven't really looked in too closely in getting POP2 running well, but I'm going to have to do more research. But I think part of me wants to kind of save that a little bit too. But there's plenty of Royal Persian gaming to go around. Let's see if this how this looks. Yeah, the aspect rate, like everything is a bit whack, but I think it looks well enough. Looks decent enough. Runs well enough. Let's see. I guess we can change this in case people are confused. Oh yeah, sorry.
In ancient Persia, there lived a sultan who had an only daughter.
Voiceovers and shit.
Whose beauty was like moonrise in a clear heaven. Now it happened that the sultan left his kingdom to fight in a foreign land.
Let me try something. If I just actually, you know what? Fuck it. Let's set up the crop because I'm gonna want to do this at some point anyway. This is a perfect screen to do it. So let's. Weird. I'm kind of eyeballing this. I can't entirely see what I'm doing, but should be fine, I think. I think we do this. Just gonna make it. Ah, fuck it. Okay, let's do this. Okay, sure. I didn't mean to do that, but can I? Let's try again. There's such a thing as vice sultans? Who knows? I'm not entirely sure this game is fully historically accurate. But...
In ancient Persia, there lived a sultan who had an only.
Yeah, so the game does run in some weird in-between resolution, but it's definitely higher resolution than the DOS version, and any other version for that matter. And looking at the graphics, it definitely looks to me like this was the original version. I mean, it's very possible that this was... that the other versions, you know,
in his absence,
were made first and then they repainted it for this version. But if you look at this artwork, it doesn't look upscaled or anything. Usually when that, like, and there are Mac games that are like that for sure. And usually it's very obvious.
Seizing power, Jafar had his rival thrown into the dungeons, but the young man escaped and struck down the evil magician. When he learned of his vizier's treachery, the grateful sultan offered riches, but the stranger requested just one reward. And so the young lovers were wed and they lived happily, well, for 11 days.
Oh, dude. Pretty juicy intro. It's not over yet.
One morning, as the prince stands before the doors of the throne room, A coldness like a shadow passes over him.
Fucked up his clothes too.
As he approaches the throne, he feels the eyes of the court upon him. The princess and sultan stare at him. "Princess," says the prince, "why do you look at me so strangely?" "How dare you speak to the princess? Guards, seize him! Seize him!"
His face morphing.
Don't hurt him. He's just a poor mad beggar.
After him! Don't let him get away!
It sounds so good.
Don't worry, my dear. He won't.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, they're fucking like copy paste to the box art from the first game. It looks so kind of shitty. And then the game starts. It's so sick. Alright. So as you can maybe see, like it's kind of choppy and weird. Like it's not really running correctly. Shit, it's the fucking best. But this opening stage is insanely fucking cool. This game's so sick. Oh! Alright, we're alive. Alright. Okay, the controls are a little bit different. You have to actually manually draw the sword. The graphics are like kind of similar, like the characters, but it is running in a low resolution, so I can tell now, like having just come from the other game, like they're not the exact same graphics. And of course the backgrounds are totally different. And you'll see here on the next screen, like holy shit, like it's like shit ton of unique pixel art. And there's actually quite a lot of that in this game. Like a lot of it of course is like fully tile based. But a lot of it isn't. Much more like there's a lot more unique graphics in this game than in the first one. I remember playing a demo of this game, and it's this like this is all you get to play in the demo. But that opening stage is so fucking sick. Like it's enough to get me sold on the game.
Leaves Persia as he arrived. A stowaway on a merchant ship. Known to
It's really sick. I had no recollection at all that the game actually had voiceover. Obviously, the Mega Drive version that we played.
Don't hurt him.
The Mega Drive version not only is missing voiceover, it's actually missing a lot of the cutscenes.
Come to me.
I think this is... I don't remember. Honestly, I think the voice acting is not bad. You know, that little sinister laugh. I mean, it's pretty decent, right? It sells the tone and atmosphere, I think. Like, not all of the game is super gorgeous. Like, there's a lot of cool shit like this, and it's very front-loaded with unique, interesting-looking stuff. You got two of these levels that don't seem like regular Prince of Persia levels. Right, so you got this little skull rock. We have to leave that, and it can actually like it's random which tile has the skull on it. And sometimes I think the door can have like a different symbol. There's some like random element to this screen. Page 6 on the manual. Let me consult my cheat sheet that I have here somewhere. Page 6 is on this one. There we go. So like it's so intricate looking. Like for better or for worse, maybe it's like a little hard to parse. And the style of the character sprite in the backgrounds is a little bit of an odd mix. Oh yeah, these fucking maps. But it's a really cool game. I mean, I think there's a lot of reasons why you might consider it inferior to the first game. But it's got a lot of really cool shit in it, that's for sure. That's a hole in the floor, which is like barely visible. Yeah, but there's a lot more fighting and action in this game. Like the pace is a little bit different. It's longer, it's got more levels, but they're of kind of varying lengths. Skeleton escape thing in stage 1? I don't remember. Well, technically, I guess this isn't stage 1, but... Yeah, you can still see remnants of, like, the skeleton sprite. Looks very similar to the one in the other game, but it's not quite the same, because it's, like, lower resolution. This game is just fucking sick, so I'm, like, want to play it. I guess we'll finish this stage too. Yeah, I guess this is the skeleton chase. No, okay. It's probably the stage after this. Still need to play Prince of Persia 2 and the Super Nintendo. Yeah, I mean, the Super Nintendo version of 1 is just amazing. It's got a bunch of slowdown, like, the graphics aren't my favorite, but, like, all things considered, like, it's got so much unique shit in it that's super cool, and it controls really well. Like, it's a great version. And if you're a fan of Prince of Persia, you really owe it to yourself to at least check it out. And yeah, Prince of Persia 2, I think, is a very, not just, like, underappreciated game. Like, it's just a game, let's not spoil ourselves too much here. It's just a less well-known game. Like, obviously, it wasn't ported to 50,000 consoles. It's got this kind of eerie sort of feel to it. It's just a very different game in a lot of ways. But it's got a lot of cool shit in it. I think the DOS version of Prince of Persia 2 is probably by far the version played by most people. It's probably the easiest one to sort of get running. And I'm sure it's fine. I mean, it's the original version, as far as I'm concerned. Like, as far as I'm aware. I guess I didn't really look too much at any credits, if there were any in the intro. But...
Prince, your bride is dying.
Oh yeah, this, like, there's a time element to this, which gets, like, introduced a few levels in, right?
Come to me.
I don't know, really. I shouldn't speak with authority about the relationship between the DOS and Mac versions. Like, when I look at the art of this, it doesn't look like it's upscaled from the DOS graphics. Some of it looks a little bit dodgy, but especially, like, the character sprite looks a bit funky in some ways. Like, it looks more downscaled from the first Mac game than anything. But the backgrounds, like, if you compare screenshots from the DOS version and Mac version, I haven't, like, done so very closely, but based on the simple fact that these graphics don't look like they've been made from the lower resolution DOS graphics, I can more easily imagine that the opposite is true. I mean, I guess it's a matter of preference, what you prefer. But I mean, look at the cutscene stuff, for example. It's, like, obvious. Oh yeah, there's switches like this in PoP 2, which open and close doors. There's definitely some mechanical differences. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. These doors also occupy a tile. It's different from the first game. Sorry, I'm just getting mesmerized by this game being sick. If you look at the painted, like, artwork from the cutscenes and stuff, then it's, like, kind of obvious that the more higher resolution one's going to look better. In-game graphics, I guess, is kind of... your mileage may vary. Yeah, I haven't actually played NES Prince of Persia. I really want to. That's definitely on my short list of ports I have to check out. Yeah, so this game also has, like, sort of multiple different routes. I guess you don't get auto-killed when you get hit without your sword. I mean, I'm gonna die anyway, but... or I was dead. Like, doing the drop, you can actually go down... Yeah, the level design is quite different in Prince of Persia 2. That's, I mean, you can kind of almost tell just from this. You see that there's more stuff over to the edges and whatnot. Like off to the side. But yeah, I just know from screenshots that the NES version of Prince of Persia looks a bit funky. I want to play every version to have an opinion on them, if nothing else. The time limit works different in Prince of Persia 2 because it's only active for like certain stages. Like there's no time limit from the beginning. Is this the command? Nope. Oh, that was exit. I guess so. Whoops. Yeah, the menus don't really display. I'm not sure. I can't. There's like a command to see the remaining time. Oh, maybe it's just spacebar. But yeah, on the first stage, like there's no timer. But as I think once the game starts, like a couple of levels in, you saw that little cutscene with the tree, some leaves falling off of it, and it's like, don't waste time. Your loved one is dying or something. It's a little bit ambiguous and mysterious, but there is a time limit for parts of the game at least. It's not like the first game where it's like from beginning to end one timer. It's, yeah, everything about this game is a little stranger, for lack of a better word, than the first game. And I think that's part of why it's not as well liked. I mean, it's not as easily available, of course. It didn't have as many ports. By the time this game came out, like a lot of exciting stuff was happening, you know, with 3D games and whatever. I'm sure it wasn't kind of made as big a deal of as the first game was for one reason or another. But I also think the first game is so perfectly sort of pure, I guess, in its design, and it feels really, really refined. Not to say that this game feels unrefined, but it feels like the first game benefited from having a longer development time of just like Jordan Mechner being able to just iterate on everything and polish it.
There lived a sultan who had an only
this game
daughter.
feels a little bit like it's more ambitious for
like
sure.
Moonrise in a clear heaven. Now,
But it has a different feel to it. The level design is a little bit
kingdom
different.
to fight in a foreign land.
I definitely can't say that I prefer it, but I also haven't really played it enough.
In his absence, the princess.
There are other ports of this. This was ported to the Super Nintendo. That port is terrible. The major issue with the Super Nintendo version of this game is that it retains the 320 resolution graphics, but of course the Super Nintendo can only display 256 pixels in width. So everything is stretched too wide, but it's also cut off. So despite the game obviously being designed for every single screen being visible full screen, the Super Nintendo game is like scrolls left and right. Actually, I want to say, doesn't the NES version of the first game still do that also? Which is like, it's just an absurdly bad design choice. What they should do, and of course what they did for the Super Nintendo version of 1, is just redraw the graphics in the correct resolution so you can fit an entire screen on screen. And that fact alone, that the screen is scrolling, means that you can't... Obviously, the level designs are made such that you're supposed to see the entire screen. If you can't, if the side of the screen is just missing, there's going to be like... There's so... Like, the entire concept of the entire game is like built around giving the player a certain amount of information about what is coming up and what the obstacles are. And some obstacles are specifically designed around sort of playing with what you can and cannot see on screen. And that's just completely ruined when the amount you see on screen is changed.
One morning, as the prince stands before the doors of the throne room,
arguably, it's a little bit like the Prince of Persia Classic that's on Xbox Live Arcade and PSN and mobile. That has almost the opposite problem, where they made it so that you can actually see a little bit of the neighboring screens.
As he approaches the throne,
it's not, you know, it doesn't ruin the game or anything, but it sort of changes certain dynamics just a tiny little bit.
The princess and sultan stare at him.
And there was a Mega Drive version in development which was cancelled, but a near final build exists on the internet. That build has some severe bugs and issues that prevent you from finishing the game. Apparently, you know, there was a ROM hack that we played last year that was supposed to fix those bugs, but as we got further into the game, we didn't finish the game, but we got pretty close to the end, there was one stage where like certain enemy types just glitch out. If you die in a stage, there's an enemy that's like a floating sword, and after you die, the floating sword uses like sprites from a different enemy, so the graphics are all garbled and messed up, which makes it impossible to see when they're attacking. So like try to fight an enemy when you can't even see what the enemy's doing in an already kind of messy game. And that was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back for me. I just gave up on the game at that point. So I'd hope that that version would be playable enough, but it's better than the Super Nintendo version in that you can see the entire screen, but it's still not a good port. If it had been finished, it might have been a playable port, but it cuts out a bunch of stuff. Like, obviously the graphics aren't as good as this, but it's also missing a bunch of cutscenes. Like, there are certain parts in the game where, like, chat had to explain to me, like, oh yeah, in the real version of this game, this is what happens here. That is why you're getting a sword here, or that is why this is, like, and without the narrative, like, it almost is nonsensical. So... yeah, so a lot of the names here, some of them at least, Layla Jocelyn, art direction, it's the same art director from the first game. But a larger staff, as you can see, for sure. And as far as this game seeing ports and remakes, there was an Android remake of this. It might have been on iOS, I'm not sure, but it's on mobile. It's not available for sale right now, but you can find it on the internet, an APK of it, and I'm definitely... I'm intending to look into BlueStacks or whatever is the best way of playing Android stuff. And it's like, it seems to be done kind of in the style of BOP Classic, the remake of the first game. It's all 3D. And I think the prince kind of looks like in Warrior Within. It's got the kind of leather armor. I've seen some screenshots and it looks kind of neat. And like with Prince of Persia 1, there's so many different versions and so many good versions that like a polygonal remake isn't that exciting. But when it's like one of like 3 ports of this game, I'm actually very excited to check it out at some point. But I want to play the real version, whether it's this or DOS or whatever.
This did not please the Sultan.
But yeah, as you saw when we were playing this, it kind of the speed doesn't seem quite right, or the frame rate, like something about it doesn't look right. Like it's definitely skipping frames of animation. It's not looking right. But I think in my other emulator it actually runs better. So I'm not necessarily saying we're going to be doing this anytime soon. This is a hard game, and I'm still somewhat... I'm realizing playing this, I'm like a little bit traumatized from my experience playing this on the Mega Drive last year. But it's in the works. It'll happen sooner or later. I think multiple enemies, like... I love that this game just, like, immediately right off the bat, like, shows you all this crazy shit that's like, yeah, I bet you weren't expecting this. Like, you played the first game, you know what to expect. And it's like, hell nah. It's about to get crazy. Because, yeah, this game is definitely more action-focused. Dude, and I don't know, it's still really fun. I can't stop playing. Yeah, Prince of Persia 3D, I was talking about that a bunch as we were playing Sands of Time. I loved that. I remember really, really enjoying Prince of Persia 3D when it came out. And in the years since, I've been told by the internet that it's considered a bad game. I'm not sure I believe that. So I would definitely want to rediscover that game and find out for myself. But I've done a little bit of research on that too, and it seems very convoluted to get that running properly on a modern PC. Not impossible, just a number of hoops you have to jump through. I have everything I need to run it, I think. I just need to do a bunch of testing and setup and apply like 12 different patches and shit. Like it's a mess. But it seems like once you get that all up and running, you can play it on a modern PC. So we're definitely gonna have to check that out at some point. Will Big Persian Gaming continue? I believe so. I had another game lined up, and impossibly dank Prince of Persia game, which I believe probably no one has heard of. I hadn't heard of it until I happened to come across it a couple of weeks ago. And I don't know if I could stomach playing it for an entire stream. But I have to show it to you guys at least. I won't hint any more than that, but since we finished Prince of Persia 1 on Mac tonight, I think the mystery dank Prince of Persia game will have to be our next stop on Wednesday's stream. And by Saturday, we'll see if maybe I will be itching to get into Warrior Within. I do have the HD version of that on PS3. Maybe we will play some other port of Prince of Persia 1. I'm not sure. I'll have to think about it. Or maybe I'm going to be all princed out and I want to play something totally different. It's always possible. But yeah, tonight was a very successful stream. I'm very happy to have finished the original Prince of Persia on Mac. It was a good time. So we were like done with everything by 9 p.m. and now it's 2 minutes past 10 and it's getting late here. So it's time to wrap up. But thanks a lot for hanging out, guys. This has been a lot of fun. I'm really enjoying these Prince of Persia streams. Always a good time. These games are incredible. All right, I think we're gonna have to raid Goaty because he is making another attempt at Batman Forever on the Mega Drive, which is an equally incredible game. I mean, maybe for different reasons, maybe in different ways. Some might argue it's a terrible game, but I kind of love that game. So let's cheer him on and let's check that shit out. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, guys. I'll see you guys on Wednesday with more big Persian gaming. See you then.